I thought I had them all turned off. One day I will get that right. Bear in mind, that's not me making an error. That is an OBS thing. It starts them all at the same time. I had them turned off. I fixed it. Fucking thing. Whatever. How you doing, people? Welcome to the stream. Yes, there's a pinned comment. Yes, I wrote it. Congratulations. You can read, and so can I. Don't Be Dead, Claw, Pirate Valkyrie, Peon Grim, Mechanicus with a resub. Thank you very much. Please tell me my microphone is working. Moss, Squirtilia, Peon Grim with his obligatory, I'm going to say a thing that somebody else said. Genj, how you doing? Cody Astronaut, Totally Toba, how you doing? Welcome in. First of all, I need to make sure that this is not too loud because we're doing the thing. Listen to that. Joker, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Here's a ninja button. You won't hear it over the ninja music. Can you hear the very, very quiet Elder Scrolls music? Some of the tracks are louder than others. I don't want to put it too loud. It should be just mild in the background. You can? Okay, good. Buddha, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Have a shout out. So, you cannot. You need to turn it up. If one person can hear it and someone else can't, someone's got volume too low or someone's got volume too loud. I'm not going to tweak it for everyone. Just going to note that it's there. If you can't hear it, turn it up. Hello, Zion Ninjas. CGI Shadow, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Clown Prince, fair enough, indeed. Clown Prince, welcome in. Monday should be banned. This should be. But today is the PTS patch notes day. It is update 50 on PTS. We are going to talk about it. I'm going to read everything. So I have to get this out of the way before we start. If you've already read it, good for you. Good for you. This is my show. I'm here to read this to the audience. If you already know stuff, good. Let them hear it. Don't tell people the end of the movie while they're trying to watch it start and all the rest of it. It is really fucking rude when people stream hop and try to stage hijack, acting like they're special. Hold on to it until I get there if you already know stuff, and don't hint about what's coming. First of all, I already know most of it anyway, and secondly, the audience are trying to listen. Is that good? I think, fuck for that, we got that out of the way. I have to do that because this is update 50, and you would not believe how many times people come in and go, hey, here's the thing and the stuff and things. I said it, haha. You didn't say shit. You're not Zos. You didn't make it. This ain't your fucking stream. Shut up. The dog dies at the end.
Listen.
Right, end the stream then. It's over. How did you know? You breached NDA before I even got here. Andrea, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. McDermott, how you doing? Lordy Rob, how you doing as well? Sits on the floor. Crisscross applesauce with snacks. I'm going to press the button. Okay, are you ready for this? The scroll bar moves quite quickly, so it's not 54 pages. I'm going to go down to the bottom, actually. It's not that bad. It's not 54 pages. Good afternoon, Zion Ninjas. Darth Kitty, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. So I am going to read about this stuff. I'm going to talk about this stuff, but people are going to have to be patient because I'm interacting, reading both the chat and this, and taking it all in and feeding it back to you at the same time. So we'll get there. Right, what do we got? I'm going to stumble over my words a lot as well because I haven't spoken at all today because my throat was wrecked yesterday and I was hoping it would be okay for now, but we'll see. Story time. Once upon a time, there was a game that everybody loved very, very muchly, and then they fucked it up. I am joking. We have to get that out of the way because someone else is going to do it otherwise. Turtle Swatter, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Elder Scrolls version 12.0.0. Let's not do that. This PTS cycle will focus. Good luck translating American to English. I'm trying. They already got the numbers muddled up. Focus on update 50. New content coming later this season 0 and in season 1. So we've got stuff that's coming very, very soon and stuff that's coming afterwards. Some of this leads into the summer. It will also focus on general bug fixes coming to ESO. No, I said ESO. That almost sounded like EA Sports. This update has several systems coming online to give you more flexibility and agency around the way you play and are rewarded. Those systems include challenge difficulty, a new opt-in system for you to tailor your difficulty experience. PvP veterancy. This new system rewards players who participate in Cyrodiil, Imperial City, and Battlegrounds with unique cosmetics, titles, consumables, perks, for vengeance, and more. Bear in mind, that's any PvP scenario where you get XP. Doesn't have to be Alliance points, XP specifically. James Bond and Tash, how you doing? Mr. Teacup, already welcome. I've misread that fucking thing entirely. Welcome in. Held off reading them until there's strap in, folks. Yes. Again, if you already know something, shh, don't even hint it. Hints are timeouts. It's like sitting in the cinema and someone's like, ooh, what's going to happen next? Someone goes, yeah, get ready for this bit. Shut up. No one asked you. Additionally, imagine that leading people into the the suspense moment. Like, you're just sitting there all chill. You don't know you're going to be jump scared in a moment. And someone goes, get ready. You fuck off, Tim. Additionally, update 50 event season, updated Werewolf Refresh. I've gone past a bit, haven't I? Class Mastery. We'll read that bit first. This new feature grants access to powerful passive effects for characters that have reached level 50 in their native class skill lines and are not actively subclassing. Bear in mind, they are going to have to redo some of that because as they change the classes, that layered effect on top of the old stuff is going to have to be considered with the new stuff. If they haven't finished it yet, where are you going to go with it? Patch notes, heck yeah. Overland, how you doing? Additionally, Update 50 sees the updated Werewolf refresh with the Combat Refresh team. This is your chance to provide feedback for adjustments and or changes that need to be made. That was worded in a way that I would not word it because that was obviously vetted and that does sound a little bit political. That sounds a little bit controlly. That sounds a little bit, instead of, hey, give us some feedback, it sounds like, hey, tell us what to do. I said it. These updates are also in addition to bugs and other class adjustments. Okay, good. This PTS cycle is where you will also be able to test out the new Thieves Guild and Sheogorath quest lines coming later in Season 1. And all new favor system will also be available to test. Also, my music has died. Don't be dead. No. Stop being dead. Let's lower the quality. It doesn't need to be really fucking high. It can be the lowest quality possible. Let's go 144p. Now go back to playing music. Watch my stream crash. Rip dance, thank you very much. Refresh. Work proper. Yeah, it's working again. What happened there? The PTS cycle is where you'll also be able to test. I've read that one already. Lastly, you will also see more quality of life improvements from our player improvement team. Player improvement team. I can't keep up with all these new words. These are a bit bigger in scope for update 50. For example, Guild Mail will be available to test and put through its paces. Yes, we'll be able to send out one whole mail to the entire guild. So get ready for your spam boxes. Ravicus Maximus, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. This PTS cycle is a pretty beefy one, and we look forward to all your participation in our feedback threads. Now, you know full well that everyone's going to go nuts for the first day, and then after 3 days, people are going to stop using it, apart from maybe 2 or 3 people that want to complete content and then get a video out saying they've done it already. But I would encourage you to try the fuck out of it if you want to have a say. All PC NA characters have been copied this week, so for those of you that don't understand how that works, PTS is on the drop-down menu for the launcher, and you can install it as a separate install. Just go to the drop-down menu in the launcher, it's tick PTS, and it'll download it. When you're on there, it will currently be copied from the NA server, so any characters you've got there. You can make a new one at max level template with all the gear and everything, but your current characters that you have on NA will be there. During the cycles, they do switch that occasionally, but it's starting on NA. We look forward to reading through your feedback on the new content. They use this word a lot here. They used it here. They used it here. They've also used it up here somewhere as well. Where the fuck did they get to? Over here. Flexibility, blah, 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 blah. I found another one. Where did you go? Where did you go? I want to say there's 3. There was. Fuck it, doesn't matter. They're using that word a lot. Feedback on the new content, season systems, and overall adjustments in this update, which is approximately 3 gig in size. Jesus. All right. So we've got loads of stuff to go through. Let's have a look. Change in difficulty. Season 0 content. So when the next season lands, that's when we get that. Change in difficulty will be released as part of seasons... Oh, no. Read that wrong. Season 0. So this one. Before the next one lands. The new opt-in system for you to tailor your difficulty experience is available from the character select screen. You can choose between 3 additional difficulties which will be applied in Overland encounters, story instances, delves, and public dungeons. Dungeons, trials, and arenas, and Infinite Archive and the Night Marker are exempt. So instant zones are not going to have it. Once selected, monsters will do increased damage to you, and you will do reduced damage to them. But you will gain more experience and gold for your effort. There you go, people that are already capped out on champion points. Gotta say it. Just started getting into trials, working on Sororia, but I can't find a group that can do +2 for the jewelry. Then use whatever other set you're using alongside it as the jewelry instead. Failing that, group find it and keep trying. That's how everyone else did it. You'll get it done, don't worry. So, host a group, ask for groups, or put the other set on your jewelry. That's the good thing about jewelry crafting. You can switch it up. Unless you're on about weights and shit, in which case that's a different story entirely. Can't go over that today. Adventurer. This is the current challenge difficulty and default within the game. There is no associated effect, and all rewards are as they are now. If you like how Overland currently operates, then this is the difficulty that is right for you. So standard. Well, for so much fun. Van, do not get ahead of me. It is really rude. I've got a big fucking thing up there. Get a chair, get comfy. You will take 100% more damage from monsters and 20% less damage. Do 20% less damage even. You will receive 50% more gold and 20% more experience from monsters. Remember, people, if you do get ahead of the streamer, regardless of who you are, you will get timed out. This is incredibly stressful when I'm engaging with the audience and trying to read something to them live. You wouldn't want someone shouting about what's happening next in a movie. Don't do it in a stream. You will take 300% more damage from monsters and do 50% less damage. You will receive 100% more gold and 75% more XP from monsters. Okay? And then Vestige. This will be the most difficult option on launch. You will take 600% more damage from monsters and will deal 80% less damage. You will receive 200% more gold and 100% more XP from monsters. And that's that, apparently. No spoilers, froze popcorn. Catch it, Van. KHAINE's got loads. PvP veterancy. Now, they did demonstrate this on their live stream, but basically, you know how we've got kind of the battle pass thing where we can bounce through all the different times and unlock them and stuff? Well, it's not exactly like that, but there is a season with unlockables on it. And as you progress with XP in PvP, you'll unlock one after the other, after the other, after the other. So you get cosmetics and loads of other shiny shit. PvP Veteran system is available on all Warriors of Tamriel. This new system rewards players who participate. By the way, it's across your whole account. Cyrodiil, Imperial City, Battlegrounds, with unique cosmetics, titles, consumables, perks for vengeance, and more. To access the Veterancy system, simply navigate to the campaign selection, scoring UI, and you will find a new tab for Veterancy. Within it, you will be able to scroll through the entire system and see what rewards you can earn. There's loads. Some rewards are granted automatically, like Vengeance perks, while others must be claimed like items, because obviously they're doing a Vengeance thing again. They did mention that on the stream as well. Various permanent titles are earned through Veterancy. Titles are also earned at rank 50+, which can be set anytime, just like regular titles. So this doesn't affect your current PvP rank. That will still exist. That is a separate thing entirely. Temporary titles and new HUD elements in your target panel are applied while in Veterancy zones to show your current Veterancy seasonal rank. This is where the CP level normally would be displayed, so you'll get a sense of players' current active status in the season. So kind of bragging rights to see how far you've got versus other people. You can highlight people and see it. You'll also see their lifetime alliance rank on the right-hand side of the target display. All right. Well, Veterancy progresses through AP and, to a lesser amount, XP gains in Cyrodiil campaigns, Battlegrounds, or Imperial City. So all XP. Regular and alliance points, but regular is obviously less contributing. 100 ranks in Veterancy. Fucking hell. At the max rank of Veterancy, you will earn a repeatable reward. Veterancy has an average of duration of 6 months or 630 day campaigns. So 6 campaigns, the long ones, and then it's over. Where the fuck are we now? Vengeance campaign is up full-time with other campaign changes. This is an update. Vengeance campaign is available full-time as a campaign to select from the Cyrodiil battles. As a reminder, the campaign has modified abilities, loadouts, unique perks, and higher population cap, which is 3 times the amount, to allow for really large-scale battles. Other campaign changes. Perks earned through Veterancy system will be available to apply to your loadouts while in Vengeance. The new loadout skill styles have been added to give even more options for your build while in Vengeance. There are 6 new abilities per loadout for Soldier, Vanguard, Battle Medic, Scout, leaning into the playstyle, of these loadouts. Grey Host campaign will also be available. However, Raven Watch, Ice Reach, and Black Reach campaigns will be closed down. Bye. We'll be monitoring the population as always to see if campaigns need to be reopened or added as Update 50 goes live. Thank you for the follow. And population settled down a few weeks after launch. Banging. Class Mastery. The good bit. Are you ready? Remember, if you've read this already, doesn't matter. We're not interested in that. We're reading it out loud. Saw some of this yesterday. The class mastery system is a new feature that grants access to powerful passive effects for characters that have mastered, i.e. reached level 50, in all 3 of their native class skill lines and are not actively subclassing. Here we explain the rules and mechanics of these skill lines, while the actual passives will be listed in the combat section. Hold on to your seats. These skill lines will utilize class mastery points, distinct from skill points. These are exclusively utilized in your class mastery skill line and are unlocked automatically when you unlock class mastery. For the time being, you are limited to 2, which are both immediately granted. Losing access to class mastery. The fucking music is dead again. This was perfectly fine. Tower Dweller, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Let's start the whole thing again. It's buffering to shit today. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with it. Maybe I'll have to do it. Never. Work. Do stuff. Oh my god, I was reading everything. Stupid buffering. How dare you buffer? Go backwards. Refresh. That'll be fine. You're not too late, you're not Yorkshire. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Mr. Macon's in the chat as well. Tower Dweller, Mike Macon, and Yorkshire just joined us. Thank you for the shout out for Mike. Remember, no getting ahead of the streamer. Mike knows that anyway, he's a mod. But it's very important that you don't do that. It's basic etiquette that the streamer is reading out loud, so don't get ahead. If you've read it already, good. Hold on to your hands and your throat. Don't spoil anything. Especially no giddy. Ooh, get ready for this bit. No one needs to hear that. No one needs to hear that. Where the fuck was I? Losing access to class mastery in any capacity will refund these points and their effects, and the respec process is the same as normal skill points through the respec or armory systems. Looking forward to hearing all the stuff and things. We've got past the Cyrodiil bit, or the PvP bit. Get ready for the next part. Get ready for this next part. No! You can't do that! That's rude! How you doing? Welcome in. I love how people tell me to get ready for stuff. I've already seen it. I'm excited. Activating subclassing in any capacity by swapping out one or more of the... You kidding? I know, but I have to draw the line on it because otherwise everyone's kidding and you can never fucking tell. Welcome in anyway. How you doing, Royal? I've done this like 50 times now. Trust me, I've seen the worst of it. It gets fucking mental. People stream hop and then sneak into one that they think everyone's listening to them on. They're like, hey, I know stuff. No, you don't. No, you heard stuff that's different. We get those. We haven't had any today yet, though. To be fair, we didn't get any last time. We did all right. Activating subclass in any capacity by swapping out one or more of your native class skills will automatically refund and unlearn any current active purchased from the class mastery. This skill line will also remain hidden while subclassing, only appearing again when you respec into all the native class skill lines. Do you know why they do that? That is to defeat OCD. Because there's nothing worse than you seeing 2 skills there that are grayed out that you can't press on because they're locked right now. You click, click, click. I want to use it. You can't. So they hide them. So you can't have that no more. Thumbs up. Thank you for that. The skill line will appear grayed out in the skills page on low-level characters with a small blurb on how to unlock it. See, they kept it for those. Because like, hey, it's grayed out. You can achieve it. But if it's grayed out, you can't touch it. That's bad. It messes with people's heads. The system is highly... rip indeed. System is highly... Where the fuck am I? Highly iterative and will likely see significant changes over time. As its primary goal is to lessen the gap between subclassing and pure or monoclassing. You really called it monoclassing? Oh my god. They sat around the desk and everything and the suits got talking again, doing whizzy hands, bringing cool words out. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway... as I've said already, the placement of this on top of 6 classes that aren't updated, while we have 1 class updated, obviously is going to have to change. They're going to settle on top of, you'd laugh at monoclassing, right? They're settling in on top of the classes at the moment to kind of give them a little bit of a boost while they're working on them. And then when they work on individual classes, they're going to have to revisit each individual passive anyway, because it might be too fucking powerful by the time they get there. They should, in my opinion, have done one of 2 things. Either layer this on top of the... What the fuck is it called? Subclassing. Like last year, when they needed to adjust stuff. Or waited until all the classes were done, but don't release all the classes until they're all done. The in-between, here's a little bit, but these aren't done yet, but they'll be done, and this will be changed again, and that is messy. But... we're going to get to fuck with new buttons, so that's fine. The skill will appear great. I've read that one already. As we continue to work on the class refresh, the contents of these skill lines will be adjusted as necessary, both functionality and numerically. Obviously. It's a lot of layering on top of layers. Each class will have its own unique skill line called Class Mastery, which currently holds 5 unique passives that augment or upgrade core experiences to the specific class. Each passive requires 1 Class Mastery point to learn, but can be respec'd at any time with the respec feature. These effects range from agnostic power increases to role-centric or passive-specific upgrades, so make sure you read carefully to see how these affect and can influence your character. Ooh. Where is the barely capable mode for those of us who may not have enough skill for more than 1 button build? Put Lazy Sork in the chat and then go to normal Overland. Don't change the difficulty, you'll be fine. Passive effects stating they upgrade a specific effect means they require you to have access to the effect. No shit. For example, a passive that upgrades rank 2 of Blood Magic will require you to purchase Blood Magic rank 2 before the passive has an effect on your character. As if you had to explain that. I mean, it's a good job I've got videos to explain how damage numbers work and status effects work and how mitigation works, especially when it comes to multiplicative stacking bonuses and all that kind of stuff. Because people don't get that. But when it comes to this, upgrades Blood Magic level 2, must have Blood Magic level 2. You explain the simple stuff, but you don't explain the complicated stuff. Moving on. New features. You are now able to swap between multiple owned premium Tamriel tomes, progress multiple tomes with challenges, and use tome points to obtain unlocked rewards on any owned tome. See, that now needs a spoiler sentence to explain to everyone what you really mean. Not the get level 2, because otherwise level 2 won't work. Upon logging into PTS, you'll be granted the Season Update 49 PTS and the Season Update 50 PTS Premium Tamriel Tomes to help you test the functionality. Basically, when you log in, all the buttons are there. The end of the season experience has been added to the game. Spoilers! You can read more about how this works in our thinking behind it here. This includes the following. End of season rewards auto-claimer. The ability to roll over up to 2,000 tome points to the future season. Any excess tome points beyond 2,000 will be converted into gold after the auto-claimer has finished.
Drinks all around.
There's a cap on tome points when it comes to carrying them over. All right. You can now obtain addition. Is it going to be like 1 gold per tome? Because that would suck. If it's loads, it would be great. You can now obtain additional rerolls for weekly challenges by spending gold. Fair enough. Knew that was coming. This is in addition to the 5 weekly challenges that are free. This initial cost for additional rerolls is 500 gold, increasing up to a maximum of 10,000 gold for subsequent uses. This cost resets back to 500 every Tuesday after the week reset. Fair enough. Hey, Zion Ninjas, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. You don't like that? Yeah, the whole save your tomes up till next month. You can do it, but they cap it as to how many you can keep. So if you're being really smart about it, like, I don't want to spend anything this week, or month even, or this season, I'm going to save until next one. You can't. That's a little naughty. Event tickets 2.0? Yeah. I mean, 2,000 is a lot, but then if you look at the amount, that was like 1.2, 1.25. And then you buy crown crates for like 750 or some shit like that. That's your 2,000 gone. I think rerolls only go up to 12. Irrelevant. Don't give details if you've read the thing. We're reading it live, Genj. That was, yeah. That's poo. It is a bit poo. That does encourage me to spend them. It does encourage you to spend them, but also, haven't read anything up here. Yeah, but the fact that you've said it only goes up to 12, where did you get that information from? Be careful how you answer that. Say you guessed. Say you guessed it. Say you think. I'm waiting. Please don't say you heard it on another stream. We're testing whether Genj is paying attention or not. It's poo. It's weird that they've made you kind of lock onto that. Cap's a thing I don't really like. I did not hear it in another stream. Oh, good! Thank God for that. Howdy, ninjas. Juno Rex, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Genj has been here long enough to tell I'm fucking around. I wish we can dive and swim in the waters of ESO. Me too! Make it happen! Fred mentioned that, but I don't know where they heard it. Yeah, don't worry about the secondhand information. That's not what we're here for. The mascots, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Even Zion Ninjas. Fire Drake, also welcome. Tell your friend to stop telling you stuff that you can find out by yourself. It's not their information to give. It's not your information to give. Actually, I'm a stream team member. I'm supposed to be showing you this. Partner, actually. Anyway, the 2,000 tome points, you can hold them as long as you want, but if you have more than that, you can't spend them next month or next season, which is, in my opinion, a little shitty. I understand why they've probably tried to do that, because they don't want people to get ahead of the game, if you like, and get all the consumables on fucking day one, and then go, oh, I've got nothing to do now. But then they're your tomes. You should be able to spend them how the fuck you want. You earn them. That's the whole point. You earn them to spend them on stuff you want. I don't like these caps. Unless it's a significant amount of gold. If it's like 10k per one tome point, crack on. I'll get loads. It won't be. It'll be like 2 gold. You can now obtain additional rerolls for weekly. We read that one already. Reaching the bonus pages, the unnumbered pages at the end of the tome, you will unlock additional repeatable for weekly challenges. Repeatability for weekly challenges. You will unlock additional repeatability for weekly challenges. Why say it like that? I'm here for a friend, here for a friend, for a friend. You will also be able to receive these added repeatable challenges upon re-rolling weekly challenges. Say that 10 times really fast. Lomia, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Look at this. You will also be able to receive these added repeatable challenges upon re-rolling weekly challenges. Say that 10 times really fast and you'll end up with winning weekly challenges. You will. This added repeatability lasts the duration. Do you think they like that word? Of the season in which you have unlocked the current tome's bonus pages. So here's what they've done. They've allowed you to rack up extra points with repeatability, because they like that word, but you can't keep them. That better be worth the gold. Repeatability. It's terrible, isn't it? Brand new weekly and seasonal challenges await you on PTS. Come test the challenges that will launch with Season 1. Okay, remember people, if you do have access to PC and you don't have PTS yet, you can buy it from Tesco's. No, I'm joking. Go onto the launcher and there's a drop-down menu, like the cog or the arrow. I think it's the arrow. I can't remember. I've done it fucking years ago. But anyway, there's a drop-down menu and you just press install PTS. It will install itself on a separate folder. It will be a whole new installation. But if you click on that, you can go into the game in this state and you can make a new character or use existing characters. If you are making a new one, there's a drop-down menu on the left-hand side in the game, in the character select, that will allow you to have a full max-level character template. It's got all the gear in your pockets. You've got loads of stuff. So, drop-down menu on the launcher, install it, go. One quality of life change I would love is for the armorer to store items for each build. Me too, because he's got a backpack, I'm sure. Pretty sure that's how you summon Ben. Ben is already in here. The tome point and premium tome point read that wrong. The tome point and premium tome token currencies have new icons. Good. The Gold Bazaar seasonal section, as well as Tamriel Tome seasonal challenges, have a new icon. I'm sorry, but these, we know what they're talking about, right? I know what they're talking about, but my God, the reusing of the Tamriel Tome, Premium Tamriel Tome Token Currencies, Gold Coast Bazaar Seasonal Section, Tamriel Tome Seasonal Challenge. It's a lot, man. Just say, look, points and Premium Tokens Currencies have new icon. Excellent. Or just, not even both of them, just say Tome Points have new icons. The Gold Bazaar has got new challenges. Make it simple. Someone tell ChatGPT to calm the fuck down. Simple and to the point. It would help, wouldn't it? They just want to watch us fuck up the words, or at least me. Everyone else would be like, hello, the rain in Spain is bollocks because it's always sunny. Wolfman, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Keyboard and mouse users can click on challenges to claim tome points in addition to using the keybind. Okay. So now you know. Various fixes for previewing items within a list of rewards, such as viewing 3 armor pieces. Fix an issue where the number of challenge rerolls currencies could appear differently when looking at different UI screens. You have to read this like a robot, otherwise you're going to sound like you have about 17 different speech impediments. Let my chest, not the game, odd ladders. Perform the consistency pass to make sure Tamriel Tome and Golden Pursuit hotkeys were the same. Okay, good. Right, werewolf stuff. No spoilers in the chat. We're reading it live. We will show off the stuff and things in a bit, as long as we've got time. As long as this scroll bar isn't too long. It didn't look like it was. Update 50. The werewolf skill line, balance, and visuals have been refreshed. I'm glad we did that. A couple of highlights of the overall changes are as follows. You should now find it easier to maintain your werewolf form. Dear Zos, I've infinite werewolf. Already. Explained further in the combat section. New werewolf models have been implemented for both male and female player characters. Ooh, everyone in the chat. Ooh. Aren't we excited? The new werewolf model are roughly 20% larger than the previous. Excellent. Furry form. Ash and black, white skill styles. Ashen black is actually a color, isn't it? Ashen, black, and white skill styles have been added for the werewolf transformation ability and its morphs. These skill styles will be earnable in-game. I thought they were talking about fucking dies then. Via the new dynamic encounter system. You can color in your werewolf. Werewolves can't. Wait for werewolf Brazil. They can't. They have many, don't they? They have the same as dogs. They should. Wait, it fucking is. Rashi, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Piercing Howl is now Natch, a new biting ability for all werewolves to enjoy. Werewolves don't gnash. They bite really hard. You want a green werewolf, please? Which tone of green? As a fellow werewolf player, I love these changes. Good. We haven't got there yet. We're just reading it. No spoilers. A new slaughterer mechanic has been added. Sounds fun. Which is akin to the vampire's feed and blade of woe assassinations. You can now press the crouch button while playing as a werewolf and enter prowl. Pretty cool. Which is a new mechanic that reduces your aggression radius against monsters by 66% and allows you to sniff out hidden enemies with stealth detection. That is actually pretty shit hot. Neon green, good choice. I approve of it. This mechanic also makes it easier for you to go into the Slaughterer Rampage, have fun. You can sniff out the fucking Nightblades. You can sniff them out. Better have some epic range on that. So, smells like... You've been to Greg's, haven't you? That's what's going to happen. No one's going to be fighting anyone. Want to glow in the dark? Glow in the dark werewolf? That'd be brilliant. Further details on the werewolf balance changes can be found in the combat section. We'll get there in a bit. We're coming back to it. Don't worry. If you've already read it, good for you. Shh. Let the audience hear. Team has also been addressing bugs and player feedback from the first round of refreshers that launched in Update 49. Added... This is for the DK. Added in... Thank you for the follow. Emerald green style for Dragon Knight's Dragon Fire Breath, Searing Strike, and Magma Armor. These will be available in the Star Master. Green Dragon Knight. Take the poison away. Give us the green back. Haha. Now you've only just got memories. Fuck it. I'll have it. Added in skill style for the Dragon Knight's Molten Weapons that does not include a weapon override. This will be available free via the Gold Coast Bazaar. So if that's happening for the DK, that's definitely happening for the Arcanist. Basically, instead of overriding your fashion, you can still see your fashion. Just toggle. Update the animation of the Dragon Knight's Earthspike Mantle to read as more outwardly aggressive through a more dramatic silhouette change. I actually thought it was okay. I even said on stream yesterday how it's relatively similar to the original, but it actually feels more impactful now because of all the passives that have been added to it. Just does. All right, fine. That was probably unnecessary, but we'll look at it. Thieves Guild questline. 8 new story quests. Find quests and also access the Heist and Thieves Guild's daily quests from the Thieves Guild Den in Daggerfall. New consumable, which I can't see. New mythic item earnable, which they did show on the live stream. It will be in the list anyway. Many other new rewards and updates to Penumbra Zone, including new areas to steal from. Now, let's go a bit more into detail on this bit, actually. Deep inside the Outlaws' refuge in Daggerfall, a group of outlaws vie for the position of Guild Master in the newly forming branch of the Thieves Guild in Tamriel. Join Quen and the High Elf as... Quen the High Elf, sorry. As she... And the High Elf. That's all he gets. He gets a name. The High Elf. Mike will love that. She helps the locals shepherd this new guild into existence and tries to keep them alive against their rivals, the Kolden Cartel. We've got gangsters in ESO. I mean, we've got loads of people that already think they are, but now you can actually be one. You can live out your roleplay. It'd be great. You'll love it. Green Dragon Knight for when you absolutely positively need it. set Sir Gawain on fire. Explore new levels of thievery and legerdemain. How do people even say that word? Because I've heard it pronounced 4 different fucking ways. And all I do is lockpick. I just say lockpick and passive. Alongside the Guildmaster candidates and uncover the secret treasures of a mysterious otherworldly vault even. I'm glad they brought this back. 2 reasons. 1, I don't like the passives in the Thieves Guild. I think some of the... Not Thieves Guild. I think some of the passives for stealing and selling are too old and I need to refresh them and take the fucking caps off. Everything in the game is a job essentially for you. You might kill monsters, you might sell gear, you might craft armor, or you might bite people in the back of the face as a werewolf. You might take over Cyrodiil, or you might steal stuff for a living. Stealing stuff for a living is the only thing that's capped. The main. Yeah, that's how I say it, but I've heard it pronounced like 4 different fucking ways. Gerdeman. I guess it's those up north people, isn't it? Shigoraf returns. Anyway, where I was going with this. I'm glad they brought this back in and are expanding it more because, for those of you that haven't seen it, I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but from my experience, I'll tell you how I felt. I felt like the ending to the Thieves Guild was unfinished. Now this makes sense, but I also felt like the ending was a bit shit. Now we've got more stuff, so it's not actually over. Blame the French? For what? Everything? Fair enough. Want to sneak in every building. Shigoraf returns. The quest line goes live during the week 2 of the PTS cycle. It will be available on the 21st around 10 a.m. ET. So it's not on there just yet. 2nd week. You pronounce it good at nicking stuff. That's a good way to do it, actually. Help Noth, the unhinged, summon her lord and master Shigoraf, Daedric Prince of the Shivering Isles, as he visits Tamriel on an expedition to discover and enjoy as much cheese as possible. But can anything ever be that simple with the Prince of Madness? Shigoraf wants a holiday, but finds himself embroiled in a power struggle, and you need to help the Mad Prince of Tamriel, and perhaps all of Nirn will suffer. Hard cheese indeed. 6 new story quests explore the new sites all over Tamriel while revisiting old ones, new friends, new villains, as well as some old acquaintances and enemies. New rewards, including a new emote and pet, which we cannot see. Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood were really disappointing how irrelevant they were after the quest. Dark Brotherhood, I'll disagree with you on. I thought that was actually pretty good. I didn't mind that at all. I even got a build surrounding it. But the Thieves Guild, we're on the same page on that one. The ending was shit. It was kind of poo-poo. And I really didn't want to do the heist afterwards. It felt like you could only really do it if you were stacking invis pots with cheeky cooldowns, or you were a Nightblade, or subclass now. But the new stuff coming is pretty good. Shadow Rider is goated, 100%. It is. That is a lifesaver. Saves you so many hours of fighting that fucking strangler that shouldn't be pulling you off your horse. Favors. This will be available during week 1 of the PTS. Favors will be available starting April 14th around 10 a.m. So tomorrow. You see week 1 on PTS, but tomorrow. The organization known as the Freerunners, Parkour, has set up posting boards throughout each alliance. These new daily quests are specific to characters in their respective alliance, and each character's quest can be completed once per day. Upon completing favor quests, players will receive both a reward and letter from the character detailing an ongoing story that unfolds across 20 quests per character. In hell. These quests are character specific rather than account wide, so they can be done multiple times. Brilliant. Favor quests will send players throughout the world to take part in a variety of activities, including defeating delve bosses, fishing, crafting, feeding, stray kittens, stopping assassins, and more. Okay. Player experience improvements. Guild stuff, but not as we know it. So, in Update 50, the Player Experience Improvements team. What a cool name for a team. What do you do for a living? Oh, I work for Zos. Oh, you're a game developer? Yeah. What sort? Do you make dungeons? Do you tell stories? Yeah, I'm part of the Player Experience Improvements team. Sounds like you fix the toilets. Good job. We need fixed toilets. Weird names. They changed all the names. Everyone's titles are fucking strange. Getting used to them is odd. The new quality of life changes are being added to the game anyway. Guild Mail. Guild Mail is an extension of the in-game mailing system designed to connect the update guild members at every level. Guild mailers are centralized in-game resource to update members about events, raffles, gatherings, hangouts, and more. Basically, they're trying to describe how an email works here. Excuse me. You can send corp-wide email, not corp, guild-wide emails. What will your guild do with a guild mail? They'll probably just send each other porn. As a member, you will receive guild mail in the guild mail section of your mail inbox. These mails can be deleted once seen. You can always report directly from the mail interface if there is an inappropriate or offensive content. See, I told you they're going to do that. The ability to send guild mail is initially limited to guild leaders. Leaders can allow members of other ranks to send guild mail as well by setting up permissions in the guild ranks tab. Members with permissions to send guild mail can do so by opening the guild menu, choosing guild tools, and selecting the option under the guild header. Just bear in mind, you remember earlier when I said that they explain the easy stuff, but they don't explain the complicated stuff? You know, the too many ads, nothing to do about it. It's Twitch. How do you think I make a living? You have to get a sub. Or you can rewind it afterwards. I'm not changing how the ads are. Content's free anyway. Right. They had something earlier which was you can only have the passive that says this is for the level 2 version of the passive if you have level 2 of the passive. Okay, that's self-explanatory. Why do we need to know that? And then this is like over-explained. Then other stuff's not explained at all. Anyway, guild mail is a very, very helpful quality of life addition, but we still need a search bar. We still need a search bar to search the name of the guild our mate said he owns so we can find the bastard. Because Derek is sitting there with no guild members right now because nobody can find Happy Tree Oompa Loompas. Nobody can find it. Members, I've read that one already. Once you have your mail underway, you can target who you want to receive it. You may choose to send to all ranks or to several different ranks or one specific rank. Simply add your subject and the body of text to the mail and send. So, officers, the whole guild, nubs, whatever. But if your friend can't... But if it's your friend, can't you invite the guild? Nah, definitely not. Have you tried to watch people navigate menus? Like, can you invite me to the guild? I can, but I can't find you. Well, it's XX underscore TimmyWet211 underscore XX. TimmyWet2. Yeah, don't say it out loud. Okay, I tried to type. I can't find it. Can't find it. Okay, well, I'll find you. I'll add you. Oh, your permissions are set wrong. No, yours are set wrong. No, your permissions are set wrong. No, yours are set wrong. Okay, I'll turn mine off and try you. Oh, I found you. Your permissions are set wrong. Okay, I'll turn mine off. Right, I'll do yours instead. You put yours back on again. What the fuck? Like, and that is just adding a friend. So yes, we need a bloody search bar. It's a fucking nightmare. Everyday fucking situations like that happen all the fucking time. The worst one is when you are trying to invite someone because you have added them as a friend and you do know where they are and you can send them one. And you go, okay, send. Boonk. Already in 5 guilds. Motherfucker. Now I've got to phone him up and he doesn't know how to answer the phone because he's forgot which fingerprint is his. It's a mess. So making that more simple or simpler would be great. We need a search bar in the guild tool so we can find the guild we're looking for. Because it's so much easier to go, Timmy, look up shit kebabs. Doesn't it get banned? No, we use the 1 for the I. Okay, fine. Now you know how to spell it. Anyway, the guild tools are coming along. The mail is a good start. Zoss likes their caps, they fucking do. Howdy, Design Ninjas. Albwan, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Are we dumbing down ESO again? A little bit. We need a shout out for Albwan. If you're not following her already, fix your life quickly. She makes songs about ESO. Bloody good ones as well. Really fucking funny. Also part of the Designer Gamer Stream team. And also this needs to fuck off. This here. Fuck off. These are the reason there's bottle lids all over the fucking floor. Because normally, if people are done with it, they might chuck the bottle on the floor because they're fucking grebs. But they put the lid on, chuck it. Right? That's easy to pick up. It's grebby, but it's easy to pick up. This shit is so annoying. People will rip them off on purpose and chuck them. Cat toys? He's got enough toys. He's got like catnip fish and everything. And he's sitting there doing nothing at the moment. After all these years, the Mages Guild has finally cracked the code on creating their own version of the transmutation station. What? These fabulous new stations have been installed at the following locations, meant to make it Even easier for you to do everything you want to do in major hubs. So for those that don't know, there is a transmutation station, not just inside your house if you've got one, but there's one in the Clockwork City. They are putting them everywhere else. So even less reason to move around. No, it's going to be quite good because all the crafting stations are in the main hubs anyway, and everyone's got their favorite place. If I test this for science right now, everyone's going to say something different, right? If I cover up my own screen, doesn't work like that, does it? Where do you do your crafting? If it's not in your house, where do you do your crafting? Don't say in your house, because I said if it's not in your house. I guarantee there's going to be more than one option. Rimmon? Vivek, Alanor? I like the Alanor one. Alanor. Solstice, Somerset. See, all these different locations. Mournhold. So now, within this list, they're going to have transmutation stations. Support, Sunport, Solstice, Paul's house. Don't say Paul's house. Rollcar? Still? Skingrad, Wayrest, Paul is Too Good's house. I can tell you two are related. Vivek, Guildhouse. I said don't say houses. It's cheating. Anyway, Eldenroot, Stormhaven, Mournhold, Leowin, Rothgar, Skingrad, Vivek. That came up there. Necrom, Alanor, Rimmon, Gonfalon Bay, and Ivir. So that is an odd one, but I mean, they're using that more now with the Major Guild stuff and Shio stuff, so probably. Anyway, if you use any of those locations, you're going to have a transportation station there. Rockart is old school. It is. It's got Pride Rock on it. Blackwood? Blackwood isn't on there. Unless one of the towns is from there, but I didn't notice it. I'm sure they'll expand that over time. This new personal golden... Path of Adventure, by the way. This new personal Golden Pursuit campaign is a feature meant to provide guidance and rewards to new players, as well as returning players who have not acquired the level 20 account-wide achievement. Is Leowin? Is that Blackwood one? I should know. I've got Ultimate Zone Guides on the fucking website, but I don't go there. I don't use any crafting station places apart from Eldenroot. I used to, and I have done when I've tested them obviously originally, but after the testing process, I just go back to Eldenroot. Force of habit. Where the fuck did I get to? For new players, they'll encounter a new pop-up after completing the Soul Shriven in Cold Harbor tutorial that will guide them to the Path of the Adventurer Golden Pursuit campaign. For returning players, they'll see it first thing on their next login and be offered a short mini quest that will help them rediscover combat basics. You need this for existing players, and I don't mean just past, like, before level 20. Because if the only people that can revisit or rediscover the combat basics are level 20 and below, what about the rest of the people that have been playing for years that don't pay attention to them? It should be like, if you fail to interrupt 10 things, you get a mail that says, here's an interrupt awareness course. Leowin is a cool city. I used to like Alanor, but I don't like run around the corner to get to the last bench. So I always do it in Eldenroot. Interrupt intervention. Exactly. You get taken out. You get a bag over your head, you get shoved into the back of a cart, and you wake up outside the back of the Imperial City, near the Thieves Guild. You know those hovels? With a candle in a dark room, and they teach you how to interrupt. Like, we're going to teach you the secret art of pay a fucking attention. They should do it. I could make games. Take the internet awareness course or get banned for 3 months. Yep, that would be amazing. Please, sir, attend this retraining at your earliest convenience, right? You're not allowed to go into any dungeons until you've done your interrupt awareness course. Because you're making it difficult for everybody else, and the dungeons are unsafe. Anyway, the campaign will guide them along their way from getting a mount more quicker, to gather sky shards, upgrading their bag, exploring zones, and taking on quests. Exploring the updating the bag is in the fucking UI now. Poor bag man. Campaign also features a new hint feature. If you aren't quite sure about what to do next or how to go about it, you know 99% of people go, oh, fucking turn that off. You can get a hint to guide you to the next path in the adventure task. That's good, it's helpful, but I do know people will turn it off. As you try to press Q, a hand appears and grabs your mouse cursor and says, hey there, that's against the law. You haven't done your interrupt course yet. We haven't got your results. We've now added the ability to deconstruct your exemplary items or sell them for gold. There's jewelry crafting stuff that still isn't squashable, and it's going to be. We've increased the cap on the number of daily quests that can be completed on a character to 50 to 100. We saw too many players naturally hitting this cap via sharing quests, playing together, and during events. Consequently, we have raised this to reduce the unnecessary friction it presented. People are just efficient. You just move the goalpost. They're going to get to 100 now and complain that it's too small. Started ESO 2 years ago. Looking forward to the harder Overland. Also had 9 months out, and they added 2 things I really wanted. Nice. How you doing, Ninja? Welcome to the stream, by the way. Previously on the character select screen, if you pressed back, the game would log you out. It would. We have updated this text to be appropriately labeled as log out. Good. Oh, fuck it. Just move on. Companion experience rate gain improvements. I do like that they've done this, but it's really fucking funny for people that have been playing a really long time, myself included, because you slogged through that fucking XP grind for those companions, which was unnecessarily long. And then they're like, well, now it's quicker. Great. Too fucking late. For me, anyway. Subjectively, it's too late. Newer players will have a much better experience, though. Or new accounts or whatever. Anyway, they've doubled the amount of experience companion gains. I have no idea why their XP rate was so fucking low in the first place, but it's going up. From combat at each of the rapport levels, you should find this means your companion will level more quickly, particularly at higher rapport levels. So no more looking inside torch bugs if you're trying to level up Miri. I won't give you tips on leveling up Bastion because he needs to fuck off anyway. Don't need to. You're that. Wow, your caps is fucking hell. That's loud. Your caps are so loud, Silver. Can you hear me over your caps lock? Yeah. Turn it down. Brilliant. Need to add what WoW has. If you delete your character, you can undelete character as long as it in the time frame. Silver. Yeah. Hi. Your caps lock is also broken. It's not spelling. It's not spelling. Yeah, you might want to unstick it. Reset. Start again. You mean you'd like to see a feature from another game in this game? Lots of people do. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but you have to be very careful how many things you wish were in the game that you're currently playing that are in the old game that you quit. That's the ex-wife syndrome. That's you left and you expect the new one to be exactly the same. Should have fucking stayed there. But yes, obviously games will evolve and they'll obviously have similar things. Bear in mind though, the MMO that we're actually currently talking about is very unique in its own right, so they have to limit how much of it they kind of copy and paste and how much of it they keep unique. But we'll see. Who knows? When you delete in the game, you delete in real life. Oh, that's some deleteception shit. Not doing it. Werewolf and Vampire quest improvements. Good. They're boring. They are. We have made a series of improvements to the Vampire and Werewolf quests to further improve them from our initial pass in Update 49. First, we had made it so that now all players who are not currently either Vampire or Werewolf can take the quest starters from the Crown Store if you have never been a Vampire or Werewolf before. These starters will get you to the relevant quest givers for you can begin the process of transforming into your bitiest self. I was well confused when he said ninja to my comment. Accidentally was logged into my monitored child's account. Now you know what the name is. Ninja Q16. Write it down. Turn it upside down. That's their password. Sterile, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Good evening. Was on Conan Exiles and PS last night. Thought of you and your server. Dude, it was fucking amazing, but there's been a lot of messy stuff. There's new stuff coming, so I'm interested. But there was a time, at least last year to now, where most of Funcom stuff was fucky. So I'm keeping my eyes on it. We'll see what happens. Remake be nice for Elder Scrolls? Yes. See, Kevin knows. And we already read that part. Bitiest self. See, they're not the only ones. Well, I'm not the only one that says funny words. They try as well. They've got a tongue twister of a fucking patch note list, but that's funny. Further, we have eliminated the gold cost requirement to get cured in-game by Priest OK. It's called RK. They will now cure you out of the goodness of their hearts. Look at them. They got to use an emote. Or an emoji. We have also added lines if you wish to flirt with either Azissa or further fucking however you say his fucking name. I don't want to flirt with Pixel McPixel Face. I never wanted to. I don't see the need to. Will it make me a better werewolf? Because if it does, I'm listening. It was your idea, by the way. You made it happen. All your idea. Definitely you. No one else ever said it before. No one ever watched Max Effect way too much or played it way too much and thought that ESO should do the same thing. You are really special. You should work for them. I set it up also. He don't know his passwords. I'm a gamer mum, 25 platinums, but internet is weird now. I only ever had to not talk on the mic because it'd be booted for being female back in 2003, 2007. You wouldn't. You'd just get hounded by dickheads. Oh my god, it's a female. They still do it now.
I love winnings. Drinks all
I lost where the
around.
fuck I was. I'll flirt with them double just to make up for you. Okay, fine. He's gonna get a fan and everything. Joy, my friends. Tito, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Where did I get to? Last but not least, we have also done some world building improvements and updated some voiceover to clear up some of Moloch Bal's versus Lame Bal inconsistencies. Yeah, because it's much older stuff versus the newer stuff. It's weird. AFK timer for character create. That no longer kicks you out if you have to go Ninja P. So if the door goes and your coffee turns up and it's not spilt, you'll be really excited. You'll probably take about 30 seconds longer to get back to your computer because, oh my god, the coffee's here. And, yeah, you won't get kicked out of the game. Katie Walker, thank you very much indeed. You're a legend. Thank you for the sub. Funniest thing is digital man hitting on digital women when the woman is a man in real life. It happens all the fucking time. Each to their own, but I think they'll be surprised. Ask them if it makes sense that the priest would not cure you of vampirism because you don't have enough gold, because no priest would ever do that, especially not a priest of, okay, sorry, you don't have enough gold, you stay vampire. Imagine that. I mean, they fucking do. In real life. You go into a church, you sit there holding out a basket. And you think it's got bread in it. No, it's got money in it. You gotta give him some money. And when you say no, it's like, well, you're not gonna get... You're not getting a bike for Christmas. Moving on. Previously, the AFK timer in the character select, you know what I mean. Character creation screen was 5 minutes. This could result in players losing their progress. Cool created characters if they walked away at the wrong moment or didn't touch any keys while thinking of the perfect name. We know there's no such thing as a perfect name except for Phil Mitchell. So crazy. Priest would totally kill you in real life for being condemned. It would be like, you're a vampire, dude. We were waiting for you. We've got all sorts. And just in case you got a werewolf, mate, we got some silver in the back. Got everything covered. So, steaks, silver, crucifixes. Got some garlic just in case. I know it's a bit old, but some of you are still allergic to it. We've got all that stuff in here. Money. Or your life. That's when they'll let werewolves in. If a werewolf pays, come in, repent, shake some fluff off, and then we'll be all right. But if you don't, I don't know. Here's the premium cure, and here's the free cure. Yeah, the free one comes with fleas. You get rid of the fur, but you still get the itch. Dear oh dear. We have added sourcing of information where possible to all motifs, both in the book and the chapter descriptions. Now, when pursuing motifs in the Crown Store, you can have the full information of where they are sourced in-game. Ooh. I'm not going to hindsight and say that should have been in it anyway. That's actually pretty good. This is meant to help eliminate any potential regret and to enable the player to have all the information they need to make an informed decision in the game. I mean, the easier option would be to just put motifs across the whole account, since it's already across the whole account for the outfit system anyway, and it's redundant when it comes to crafting because people just change the outfit. But I'm glad you're telling people where stuff drops because then they can actively farm it. Spent hours trying to get bit by a werewolf. Ended up asking in chat. Felt like a weird date. Will you bite me? Okay, wow. As to where you can delete the character, you can hit undelete button as long as it isn't a time frame you get it back. I mean, technically you could do that. It's called an email. I mean, they don't want to encourage people to rage delete and then ask for their stuff back. It's a pain in the ass to deal with. But they, I mean, if you're nice and send them an email, I'm sure they would. Here's the premium cure. I read that one already. Zeals of Xenophar. Zeal of Xenophar honors the Tamrielic god of commerce and hard at work. And during this blessed time, I can read, honestly. of year, you can earn extra rewards by engaging in those activities. There's a lot to do in this event, so let's get started. Oh my god. You pick up a quest. I'm not going to go over this too much. This I'm going to skip because there's loads of dice here, and me saying their name doesn't tell you how cool it looks. Like, the title, Superior Thief. I'm already against that. Master Thief. Master Ninja. Ultra Sneaky Backstabby Megazord. Superior Thief sounds a bit poncy. And we know how well that went for Aladdin's dad. He was poncy, that didn't go well. Battle Scarred, Vestige of. Vestige of is pretty good. Free Runner. Okay, I'm in for that one. I like that. Because my character goes boing, boing, boing all the time. He's always jumping on shit. That works. Sticky Fingers sounds better. Why haven't they done that? Sticky Bandits and the Wet Bandits. Oh, someone make the guilds. Someone make those guilds. Someone go crazy for Thieves Guild stuff when it lands. Make your guild all about the Thieves Guild and call yourselves the Sticky Bandits. I was about to say that. I think you should do it. Someone do it. Put it on Twitter. Tag me. It'll be hilarious. All these are cool. The dies are cool. Look, Brassy Brass. I'm assuming that's a bit brassy. Anno White. Mad God's Berry. They're cool, but I can't show you them, so whatever. Moving on. Achievement reorganization. This will be interesting. Achievements from... No, we'll read the whole thing. Significant reorganization of achievement categories has happened to assist players in finding achievements associated with content by type, as well as reduce the amount of overall categories on the achievement list. Good, because that is quite broad right now. I will cut in here, though, and say they really need to consider what to do with achievement points, because they've all sat there for like 13 years, 12 years, doing nothing. There should be something you could do with those points. Otherwise, it's just a number. It's nice, but it's just a number. You already have the achievement unlocked. You have a picture of it. It's like, yay, I got the thing. Pixels. Yeah, but you got some points as well. Oh, yeah. Got some points. What are they for? Don't know. No idea. You could call it Ben for short. You could. Sticky Bandits. Acronym Ben. Points means prizes. Exactly, Disease. See, you know. Achievements for prologues have been organized into DLC or chapter. They were associated with under a new subheader prologue. Good stuff. Sticky Bandits. Oh dear. That is fucking ridiculous, Coyote. Make it happen. Make it happen. The Goblins of the Loot is what Ben's Guild would be called, or maybe a pup. It would be. Dungeon achievements subcategory trials has been converted to major category. All of its trial achievements are now sorted into individual trials. The public dungeons achievements has been moved from dungeons to be under exploration and is a part of zones and not group content. So there's a list for all the different trials now. That's handy. Pub. It should be Pib. Put it back. That's what you say every time Ben goes into people's pockets. He's from Manchester. Would you believe it? All previous specific group content released in a DLC or chapter, such as a trial, has been moved under trial. I read that one already. Oh, no, I didn't. It's the next one. Under trials, for example, Odyssey and Cage can now be found under trials instead of Solstice, previously named Seasons of the Wormcoal. This is really helpful. I like the shuffling around here, like making things make sense, because everyone's done it. Have you got that trial achievement? Which one? You know, the one with the thing and the blue thing and the twist. Which chapter was it in? I don't know. Blackwood or something. There was a tree in it. Do you mean Merkmire? No, that wasn't a DLC. I mean, it was, but it wasn't a trial or anything. I mean, they had Black Rose, but they... And then you get muddled up. Having it trials and then a list of them, you can click on the one you're looking for. Perfect. Love it. Areas such as Maelstrom Arena. The way I was talking about Ben, I assumed he's from Liverpool. That was the joke. I'm glad you got it. So I said, oh my god, he's from Manchester, but I left it with that dramatic pause as to you wouldn't believe it because he's probably from Liverpool. Yeah, you got it. Arenas and Maelstrom. Oi! How you doing? Welcome in. Arenas such as Maelstrom Arena can now be found in a new major category as well for easier navigation. Any achievement that requires engagement of multiple dungeons or is content agnostic will be listed under the general section of the new major headers. You just made it a little bit confusing. The new category is now displayed on the achievements menu called Recent Seasons. That's going to be temporary. This will show all recently added achievements for the season and feature the new content release in the update window. So they'll have to shift it after the season's over and move it somewhere else. So they've got an achievements team now. Sad Panda. Achievements are listed from normal difficulty to veteran, top to bottom, and all achievements that are earnable exclusively in veteran group content will use veteran in their description. All dungeons, trials, and arenas are listed in alphabetical order for easier navigation. Thank you. Everyone say thank you, Zos, in the chat. But TY Zos, all one word. The following major headers achievements have been added: arenas, DLC dungeons, recent seasons, and trials. So this is just going to be ever-changing, this one, and then they just chuck them all in. Following major headers and achievements have been retired. So all this stuff, if you were using those links, they're gone. Collectibles. Costume can't see. Emote can't see. Furnishing can't see. All this stuff cannot see. Skill styles. Werewolf, black, ashen, and white. Surely black and ashen are going to be relatively similar anyway. Why can't you have black, white, and luminous pink? Like Booster from Turbo, whatever the fuck his name is. Turbo Man. Me at Zos right now. Hello, Magical, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Magma Armor, Siren Strike, and Dragon Breath can now go green, just like their previous poison versions that you'll never see again. So this is your, haha, it's green but not poison. I like the skill styles. They're pretty fucking cool. That's going to be... If they're following the pattern, if you like, of the other ones, it will probably either look like the Arcanist color, or it will be just really bright like the blue and the red that we've already got. 1,000 bits! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That's money, people. Thank you very much. 1,000 bits unlocks your first ninja star if you haven't got one already. Show it off. It's a badge and an emote. Template information. I'll explain this for you, because... for people that don't play on PTS, go onto the launcher, use the drop-down menu, install it. There's a little tick box, and it will open up a new version of ESO in a new location, depending on where you want to put it, and it's a completely different instance. In the game, when you make your character, it will reflect whichever server they want it to be at the time. For the first week, it's NA, so your characters will be there if you're on the NA server. If not, doesn't matter. Drop-down menu on the top left-hand side, when you get into the character select screen, will give you a list of... brand new player, half-built player, and max. Make the max one. Go into your bags. You've got all the gear in the game. You can test everything. Absolutely everything. It's all free. And I know it looks like you've got crowns to spend in the crown store. It's just 1 crown per item. They're not real crowns. If you reset, they come back. Known issues. So for people that find bugs, don't report these ones. You may notice a small increase in time it takes to populate guild history the first time you go in to view it after this update. Icons for Vengeance loadout skill lines are in progress and will be implemented later in PTS cycle. I think they said week 2 or something for that. Werewolf skill style icons are still mid-pounce flight and are missing or incorrectly displayed. Werewolf transformation icons are missing. Natch, previously pierced in the Howl, is also used in a previous version. Class mastery. Nothing wasted. Necromancer passive. Coyote's going to love that one. Can result in... the stacks becoming stuck on your character in specific conditions while still letting you generate stacks again, allowing you to bypass the stack count. Naughty. Easy dummy videos. Guild mail. All of these issues should be resolved on PTS week 2. So any issues that are here, I'm not going to go over them all. Any issues that are there, they're going to be fixed next week. Path of the Adventurer. That's the new player thingy. Obviously, you can make a brand new character and try all this stuff out. But they've got issues there. Now we get to the good stuff. I'm going to get a drink because I'm going to be using my voice too much. Be right back. And I'm going to take all these... Look how well I've been hydrating. See? Right. If only I had a passive called Making Humans. Dude, make it happen. Just tell them. This has already been worded as tell us what you want when you really, really want. So tell them. Combat stuff. Fixed an issue where light attacks could become stuck in the ability queue. When there were multiple attempts to light attack while using an ability that casts with a channel time, with a cast or channel time. This should resolve the issue where your character could become stuck in what appeared to be a heavy attack animation when using these abilities and attempting to weave rapidly. The buff from continuous attack no longer drops in the vicinity of the lowland bandit camp. Player pets have had their defensive capabilities updated to account for ever-growing power scaling updates for player abilities. Pets have 85% damage reduction against area and over time effects. Has been updated so also to include any proc-based damage. This is purely PvP-centric adjustment. Fair enough. Excuse me. Updated the damage limit for pets. Have never take more than 33% of their maximum health in a single attack rather than 45. Can't one-shot them. Fucking hell. Corrupting Pollen's debuffs now sorts closest to area center instead of targets missing most health. Following effects now update their per tick instead of on the area enter. Do we need to read them all? Bahara's Curse, Budding Seeds, Caltrops, and all morphs. Cleansing Ritual and Extended Ritual. Companion's Grave Grasp. Energy Orbs that heal. Hand of Mafala's Snare. Healing Springs and Morphs. Hearth and Home's Snare. Pestilent Host. Love that set. Plague Slinger. Reconstructive Domains Heal. Refreshing Path. Renewing Undeath. Revealing Flare and its morphs, Ring of Preservation, Shadow of the Red Mountains damage, Fervocon damage, Trapping Webs, and Winterborn's damage. Let me read that again. The following effects now update per tick instead of on area enter. Fair enough. Fixed an issue where some bonuses that granted damage done to monsters were multiplicative with other damage bonuses instead of additive. Affects the following. Fixed an issue where some cleanse effects did not properly interact with triggers that key off removing negative effects as well. So Ansel's Torment also adjusted this set to 6% damage done to monsters, increasing to 18% for 30 seconds after interrupting rather than 7% and then 14 for 10. It's actually quite helpful. Not just the fact that it's higher, but the fact that if you do bash something, you now got 30 seconds worth rather than waiting for that interrupt mechanic and having fucking huge gaps, because while people scream about how good that is, most of the time they're not even getting the benefit. Besides, Mania increased the set bonus to 12% max up from 10. Empower, Shadow Cloak, Tideborn Wildstalker, Velofi Mage. This fix will result in affected effects to be reduced in power when used in tandem with other percentage-based damage bonuses. While we've gently increased some of the affected effects, some will remain untouched until we get more data on the average value impact, since the change in power was dependent on what other bonuses were being ran in tandem, which can rectify during PTS or in future or update if necessary. The problem is, if they're going to gauge it to decide whether they should or shouldn't do it, I think that's a mistake. I think what they should do is have a consistent base for the way that they calculate their damage and decide whether it's going to be multiplicative or additive, rather than having some really skew-if rules for some that look the same but aren't. So if one says 5%, another one says 5%, and that's multiplicative and that's additive, who decides to make that rule? To an unsuspecting player that doesn't understand all that kind of stuff, they just see 5% and 5% and think they're both the same. So make it make sense and just adjust the set accordingly if you have to. This wasn't surprising to me. Seems like a glitch that they didn't know about until the DK rework. I think they did, but the problem is doing all that at the same time as having an already set in stone months ahead game plan that we don't know about at the time. Trying to make that line up is tricky, and then trying to prioritize on it versus anything else that needs to be out at that point in time, which, by the way, would have been the Riving Wall, wasn't worth touching. But I do think they need to make it make sense. They did with damage mitigation. They did with the stat consolidation. They need to do the same when it comes to multiplying or adding damage bonuses. Liana, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. I like consistency. I like things to make sense. So, I mean, if you've got to hack them apart, hack them apart. You've got fucking 700 sets in the game. Just fix it. Visual and audio bug fixes. Good, because audio's fucked right now. When crouching, combat animations now play whenever your weapons are drawn instead of just when you are in combat. Certain hairstyles no longer float. Well, you have your weapons drawn, so you put your weapons away and your hair goes weapons out. Weapons away. What the fuck? What a weird bug. Animations are fun. Adjusted the effects of the dragon, fire, breath, and its morphs to be more performant in an effort to prevent them from being randomly culled while in use. The visuals of Incinerate now correctly appear in the ability if the ability killed the target and ended combat immediately. Molten weapons animation now cancels properly when using dual wield or one hand and shield. Good. I was going to show that off yesterday, but honestly I fucking forgot. Basically, go on live now if you've got a DK, almost Immortal Warrior or something like that, and you know Molten Armament, light attack, cast it, light attack, skill. It will do the whole animation for Molten Armaments, freeze, and then light attack skill after. It all comes out, but it waits. Now, if you light attack, cast it, swap bars, it's perfectly fine. The animation cancels there. But if you do a skill directly after it, it will eventually fire, but it's fucky. It's all messed up. The ultimate armors now cancels properly when using dual. Read that one already. So, third-person staff animations no longer stutter when returning to idle after using Petrify or its morphs. Finally got all the gear for the cleric and tried the build out. Is really strong and enjoying a lot. Thanks for the great build. You are most welcome. You are going to love that, and so is your group. Your group is going to be like, why the fuck are we still alive? How come we're not taking any damage? And how come we've got infinite resources? Cleric's the best build. It's fucking insane. And it works properly. It's not just one of those funky things that is put together because it sounds cool. No, everything makes sense. The damage shield audio for Earth's Shield Mantle and Ferocious Sleep Nocturnal skill style now works correctly. The damage shield audio for Magma Shell now correctly plays for targets other than the caster. Dual wield Whirlwind's morphs will no longer be missing some visual effects, most notably when paired with certain skill styles. Chaotic Whirlwind fixed an issue where this set's visual effect did not properly apply to Whirling Blades morph. Outside of this, there's some other issues that are quite annoying right now with audio. And you've seen it on my live stream as well, where it makes you sound like you're underwater for a bit, or you get like 4 seconds sometimes with no skills played at all, absolute silence, and then they all come in at once. I have reported that. I have given them a video of a couple of instances, but I don't know if they know what the problem is. Build works and feels perfect. Good. It's tough as fuck. People will thank you for it. Put my little brother onto Easy Tank, just got him to level it up, and he ruins Maztown. No way! Well done. And scrolling. Class abilities. Arcanist, Herald of the Tome, the Unblinking Eye, the Languid Eye. Decrease the stacks this ultimate can achieve to 12. The natural cap of 1 cast. Down from 20. Introduce a cooldown to stack generation, preventing cases where multi-casting this ability would allow them to generate stacks faster than intended, right? Note that the multi-casting this ultimate is expected to have each cast inherit the highest stacks. They do not each have a separate stack counter for the same caster, as none of the game's stacking effects do. While this is a nerf to the ceiling of damage, in reality this vast majority of use cases will never feel these changes. These are specific adjustments to quell some instantly high damage production in special cases where you're able to have more than one Languid Eye at a time. Okay, so people were just building a fuck ton of ulti and having loads of eyes. I mean, Infinite Archive, you can do that with a transformation for the Molten Armor thing, or the Lava Dude. And you can also do that with Sorcerer and drop like 4 or 5 fucking Atronachs. So it's not just that skill. DK. Flame Whip. Flame Lash. This morph no longer grants increased damage done after consuming all charges. Oh, updates for the DK builds already. As we have recontextualized damage into the class mastery system. Molten Whip. This morph no longer grants increased damage done per stack, as we have recontextualized damage into the class mastery system. So it's no longer a very complicated skill. Core of Flame. Fixed an issue where this ability that morphs could use desyncs to your could cause desyncs to your resources if repeatedly cast while already active, and while a cost per tick ability was active. These abilities will now begin to restore resources after 350 milliseconds delay rather than instantly because of this fix. Okay, I mean, no one's going to really notice that. Where did I get to? 6600 healing ticks. That was a random thing to shout out. Heart Flame Morph now heals you 15% of your maximum health per tick rather than your missing health. That is fucking nuts. Although, squishy DPSs might actually have... No, actually that'll work out. You get a much bigger heal. Adjusted the rank up progression-wise to 1.1% healing done per rank, which is a very long number there. 0.15495. 43k tank, 6600. Yes. Why are you telling me this stuff? You know I make videos for it, right? I'm glad you figured it out. Well done. When it comes to... That's a very specific number as well. 43k. You know people have like 43, 44, 52, 62, 38. Some of them have 23. It's 15% of whatever they have. Man, it's like someone thinks that this is his show. It's yours, Clown Prince. Did you get a shout out? I haven't given Clown Prince a shout out today, have I? Fuck. Someone do it quickly, and then I can pretend I did. Searing Strike. I can't even say words. Searing Strike, Searing Claw. Fix an issue where this morph's rank up progression always returned its maximum rank rather than properly building up to the maximum bonus effect. Inferno. Fix an issue where this ability and the Incinerate morph's damage were not considered direct damage in some cases. Ooh. That means that if you're built heavily for direct damage, you weren't getting your full damage output. Because if you have champion points giving you 6% increase to direct damage, and this doesn't apply to direct damage, then you might have more. However, if it was leaning into something else that you do already have, then it'll be fucking same. Incinerate. Fix an issue where the visuals for this ability failed to appear if the ability killed the target and ended in combat immediately. Yeah, that was a little fucky. It was getting stuck sometimes as well. Draconic Power. Winged Buffet. I still don't understand. I still don't understand the name. I don't know why they call it that. Thanks for the shout out. You're welcome. Fix an issue where this ability and Fleet Step Wings, Morph, Knockback, and Stun effects were unintentionally treated as a proc event. Oops. I mean, the skills OP as fuck anyway. Earth Spike Mantle. Shatter Spike Mantle. This ability now tracks the duration of the bonus damage rather than the damage over time effect with combat timer settings to alleviate the issue where killing the target of the damage over time effect would result in the timer to be wiped. Fix an issue where this morph's effects did not all inherit Elfbane's duration extension, resulting in other cases where combat timers could produce confusing results. Good. It's an issue for ability timers. So you have a resistance buff and it lasts 20 seconds, and you have a dot that lasts 20 seconds, but the target dies, so now your ability timer disappears. You've still got the resistance buff. It's still on other targets, but that one dies, so it wipes it off. So you can't tell if it's still running or not unless you look. Why does Wing Buffet not come with ranch, buffalo, honey mustard, and teriyaki morphs? Because that's too many. You're only allowed 2. Not buffet, it's buffeted by the wind. It's just a weird fucking word. And the same for Heat Shock from Magma Fist. So they are first of all called things Avalanche, which was dumb. It doesn't make sense for a DK. So they changed it to Landslide. Okay, I can get on with that. And then they said when Heat Shock builds. No, Heat Stroke builds. You build up too much heat and you end up not very well. Heat Shock. Shock sounds like lightning. Ask 100 people. Heat Stroke and Shock. People will be like, oh, heat stroke is what you get in the sun. Like, too hot, isn't it? They get it. Heat Shock. Huh? Manky Merv behind Tesco's fucking customer service. They don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And they're the people you want to sell a game to, so make it make sense. But yeah, they've tried to be too clever with the word. So I'm going to stick to the food version of that word and remain ignorant to it and tell them that it sounds stupid. This here, party food. Chicken wings. You should call it bingo wings. Fucking hell, why'd I let him in? Superheated Ward. Superheated Ward. Update the animation for this ability and the volcanic ward morph to align better with the style and language of the abilities and to offer more variation from the damaging morph. I would argue that the shield itself, you don't have to agree to this, it's just how I feel. I would say that this particular ward is way too close to Healing Ward. Even though it stacks. And I feel like they should probably do something else with it. It's not a bad skill, but we've already got one like it. Like, very close to it. Necromancer. Coyote, get ready for this. Bone Tyrant. Bitter Harvest. This ability and its morphs now work properly with effects that treated targets as a corpse, such as bone armor, nobility, and decay. So their bug they had with the set, basically, fixed it. These patch notes are cringe and I'm sad. Radiant, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Quick note, there's a pinned comment up there. Do not get ahead of me. If you've read it already, good for you. I'm reading it live in front of an audience. Don't get ahead of me or them. But welcome in. Good day, gamers. Dudes, there's so much fucking stuff. I'm only halfway through it. Green Balance. Nature's Gift. This passive now restores 125 and 250 at max level, magicka and stamina to you when healing any target with a Green Balance ability, rather than restoring 138 and 277 magicka or stamina whenever the highest of the two is there whenever you heal an ally with a Green Balance ability. So you get both, just for healing rather than one or the other, whichever one is highest. It's not a bad thing. I mean, you're not going to need that on Cleric. He's not going to run out anyway, but it's still there. Winter's Embrace, Sleet Storm, Northern Storm. This ultimate now grants 4% damage done per stack up from 2. This bonus decreases to 1 per stack with Battle Spirit is active. Okay. Because Northern Storm is not doing enough damage anyway, because one ultimate is protecting. The other one's still a protecty-ish, but you just use the fucking Destro ulti instead. Frozen Gate. Fix an issue where this ability and its morph's teleport could prompt a break-free activation, despite not being able to be cancelled. This will prevent the champion's star Slippery from wasting itself, and should save those with Gunslinger Showdown Draw reaction times from wasting stamina on something that provides no benefit. It will, however, continue to provide crowd control immunity after the pull occurs. So you were breaking free from a stun even though you weren't stunned, even though you had the stun cooldown. They spotted that a bit late. Glacial Presence. This passive now disables its damage done bonus to chilled if you are wearing Shattered Path's Signet. Developer comment. Thank you for the follow.
Drinks all around.
We're targeting a very specific combination here, as we've seen this mythic introduce some unhealthy power spikes with very specific builds. As we continue to balance other aspects of the game, we'll come back and monitor it if we need to iterate on this interaction to make it less punitive. Punitive. Puny human. Warden's current passives are highly generic and number focused while we work on the class refresh experience for the class. Expect these changes in tandem with the effort when it comes. Okay. Tundra's More. This passive upgrades the chilled status effect to also apply Major Brittle for 2 seconds upon application. A second source of Major Brittle. The only way to currently get Major Brittle in the game is the Nanothuk fucking Monster's Helmet, which is on Permablock, the build, which is why you can pump out 50% crit damage for the group. 20 on that, 10 on Minor, and 20 on the Warhorn. While the adaptation, this passive increases your weapon and spell damage by 333 for each status effect your target has on them, up to a maximum of 1665. Note this can also apply to friendly targets. Why would you want to have more weapon and spell damage while looking at a friendly target? Unless, of course, you're healing them. Maybe it's for that. Glacial Obstinance. This passive upgrades Bond with Nature to also trigger off activating Winter's Embrace abilities and causes the effect to grant 15% weapon and spell damage for 15%. That's fucking huge, depending on how much you've got. For 10 seconds if you're at full health after the heal. Banging. Mark JPVVA, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Green Keeper's Hide. This passive reduces your damage taken by 3% for every status effect on your attacker, up to a maximum of 15%. So the more pressure you apply to your targets, the more beneficial it is to you. Nature's Bounty. You bastards! That's the name of my build. And the name of one of your boss encounters in Hrothgar, which I stole it from. I did. I don't give a fuck. It was relevant. It made sense. This passive upgrades rank 2 of Nature's Gift to grant the healed target major heroism for 4.5 seconds and additional 250 magicka and stamina. It's a buff bot. Banging. Templar. Bastion of Light. This passive causes you to heal for 8% of your maximum health every second. That Sacred Ground is active. If you're at full health after the heal, you generate 2 ulti while in combat. Sacred Ground will also be able to activate while you are inside the area of your Nova or Spear Shards or while Radiant Sweep or Solar Barrage is active. That is OP as fuck. Not bad. Devout Guardian. This passive causes you to gain damage shield for 6 seconds, up to once every 6 seconds, while Sacred Ground is active. The shield absorbs up to 20% of your maximum health. It's a Dark Souls like a fucking 12k heal. Or 12k damage shield. Where did I get to? And grants you 300 health, magicka, and stamina recovery while active. If the shield breaks, you gain 10 ultimate. Shit. Up to once every 6 seconds. So that's not far off a major fucking heroism in itself, which would stack. Right, Harbinger. This passive upgrades rank 2 of Illuminate to grant the affected group members 300 weapon and spell damage, increasing to 600 for you. So they get a bonus, you get a bonus. Judgment's Brand. This passive upgrades rank 2 of Burning Light to increase your damage done with temporary abilities by 1250, 65 against players, for 3.1 seconds after activating. Holy shit. Steadfast Cadence. This passive increases the amount of damage you can block by 20% while stationary, causes you to gain Sacred Ground while bracing. Dark Soul is going to be a fucking brick wall. Someone put Dark Soul in the chat. If you take that passive and then the damage shield passive combined, not even that actually, take Bastion of Light and Steadfast Cadence, fucking hell. That's gross. Sorcerer. Conservation of Energy. This passive upgrades rank 2 of Blood Magic, so also active off any ability with a cost. Activate off any ability with a cost, excluding cost per tick abilities. So the ones that channel energy off of your fucking bar. And you also restore 2% magicka and stamina upon activation. So the passive activates off any ability with a cost. Okay? Any ability, not just dark magic. Finally got the banner. Now I'm broke again. Well, at least you've got it, because you don't need to do it ever again. It's now available for your whole account. Font of Power. The passive upgrades rank 2 of Exploitation to also activate off of any sorcerer ability, and to grant you 1% weapon and spell damage for every 1,750 magicka or stamina you have, which is higher, whichever one's higher for 10 seconds. So either one of your offensive stat bars. So Lazy Sork has probably got double that. So you're talking, what, 20%? 10 of it would be 17. Yeah, he's not far off like 34k. 20% extra weapon and spell damage. What? Gotta hit the Infinite Archive, 100%. Static Reverberation. I can say words. Reverberation. This harkens to an ancient passive, Implosion. Remember that? Do you remember Implosion, people? Sorcerers, where are you? This passive causes your damage and attacks to have a 1% chance for every 1% miss in health the target has to trigger an additional hit of shock damage. 31.5% of the higher of your weapon or spell damage, up to once every 200 milliseconds. What the fuck? Let me read that again. This passive causes your damage and attacks to have a 1% chance of every 1% missing health of the target to trigger an additional shock damage ability up to once every fifth of a second. This chance is further reduced for every permanent pet you have active. Calculation is percentage chance based on 1% of each miss in health divided by +1 number of permanent pets. So if you have 1 pet, 1% chance for every 2% miss in health. If you have 2 pets, it's 1% chance for every 3. That's fucking bonkers. We've got Implosion back. Oh dear, oh dear. Calculated defense. This passive causes you to gain a damage shield that absorbs 30% of your maximum health for 5 seconds, or 0.5 seconds even, anytime you begin to activate a sorcerer ability or an ability with a cast time. Oh. So Dark Deal, damage shield, instantly. The shield fails to break. You grant you and your group 3% weapon and spell damage for 20 seconds. It's not bad. Spear of Influence. Sphere, not spear. Spear's a pointy thing, sphere's a round thing. You could put the round thing on the pointy thing. Do this with it. Good thing I'm leveling up a sorcerer. This passive causes your damage shield abilities to grant an additional damage shield to the target for 3 seconds that absorbs up to 15% of their maximum health as damage, scaling with 25% higher of your maximum health or magicka. Targets also gain 150 health, magicka, and stamina recovery. So you give someone 2 shields. It's bit OP. Malevolent Lazy Sork giggles. Dude, implosion on fucking Lazy Sork. Oh my god, people are going to be spitting in their own soup. Yeah, well, you can't use that builder shit. What? Implosion? Ugh. Shit everywhere. Nightblade, here we go. Nightblade fans out there, where are you? I'll take this moment, by the way, to say thank you for people not getting ahead of me. I know it's very, very difficult to do, but they've not done it so far, so thank you very much. I will note that it's very important that people should not do it, but I'll also note that I appreciate the fact that people didn't. Yet. Nocturnal Inspiration. The passive upgrades rank 2 of Hemorrhage to have a chance to equal to your weapon crit chance to grant you 2 ultimate up to once every 3 seconds. Flex is going to be disgusting. An Eye of Exploitation. The passive increases your weapon and spell damage up to 1250 and reduces your damage taken by up to 12%. Both based on your target's missing health. Note this works on any effects that scale with weapon and spell damage, meaning it can increase damage against low enemies, increase healing against low allies, including yourself, and reduces damage taken from low enemies as well. Fucking hell. Above and beyond, this passive increases your critical damage and healing by 15%, 7% against players. It also increases your maximum potential crit damage and healing by 25%, meaning it adds to the normal 125 cap. Nightblades can have an extra 25% crit damage over any class in the game. Shit the bed. And I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're going, right, everyone's got to be a fucking cat again. Shit. Flex is already a cat. Holy shit. So now you've got a reason to get Major Brittle if you didn't already have it. That's fucking mad. Evasive Trance. This passive causes you to dodge incoming attacks for 1/3 of a second when activating a Nightblade ability while bracing. Dodging any attack, though, or through any means, causes your attacker to take 5% increased damage for 5 seconds. Fuck me. So, you're a tank. You cast an ability. I don't know, a heal or something. You dodge. And if they miss you, you hit them harder. And that would stack with their set as well. Where you get to completely dodge attacks. What the shit? Share the Spoils. The passive upgrades rank 2 of transfer to double the ultimate gain you get from it. 4 up from 2. While also granting the nearest 4 group members 250 magicka, stamina, and 1 ultimate upon activation. That is mental. Can you farm Oaken Soul Ring once? You can scry it, or do you have to make it afterwards? No, you get it. You get it given to you. You can remake it afterwards, but once you've finished it all and you've got all the leads and stuff, it goes in your bag. Necromancer. Where's Kaiti? Nothing Wasted. This passive upgrades for rank 2 of corpse consumption and is also to also grant a stack of Nothing Wasted for 12 seconds every time you consume a corpse, up to 10 stacks maximum. Nothing Wasted increases your maximum health and weapon and spell damage by 2% per stack. If the stack reaches their full duration, they instead lose 3 stacks and refresh rather than losing all stacks. Ooh, so you can build it up and actively maintain it. Grabs knife and fork. Dude, get a wheelbarrow. You're gonna need to put some bodies in there. Malevolent Promise. This passive upgrades rank 2 of corpse consumption to mark the closest non-player enemy to you with Death's Touch for... like the sound of that. You got a name right for once. That's a good name. For 6 seconds, whenever you consume a corpse, which allows you to use a corpse consuming ability against them. So you're like taking their soul out of them. This can occur once every 2 seconds. Consuming or replacing this effect triggers rank 2 of Death Gleaning. That better be visually as cool as I think it is. Can I make them do damage as well? Can you one-shot them? Cycle Unending. This passive upgrades rank 2 of reusable parts to also grant Lord of the Cycle for 25 seconds, increasing your damage done by 1% for every 1% more current health percentage you have compared to your enemy. This bonus caps at 25% and 12 against players. Holy fuck. So, let me read that again. Increasing your damage done by 1% for the difference in health percentage between you and them. So, as soon as they go down to 75% health, if you're still staying full health, you now start beating the fuck out of them. If you have 75% current health and your enemy has 50%, you would gain 25% damage against them. That's actually OP as fuck. 25% damage increase just for them being lower than you? You're the bully. You're the bully. You're the bigger guy hitting the little one harder. Bully Mancer. That's the name of the new build. It's happening. Pound of Flesh. How appropriate for the next name. Punching it. Beating it into submission. Pound of Flesh. This passive grants you a 1% chance when taking damage to restore 10% health and 5% missing stamina up to once a second. You should not have done that.
Drinks all around.
1% chance is not much, right? But 10% health and 5% missing stamina up to once a second. This chance increases by 1% for every 1% missing health you have. Shit. If you have 50% health, you'd have a 51% chance to activate the passive when taking damage. Please tell me that's an actual heal. You said restore health. If that's an actual heal, that might base off of healing done and healing received in crits. Just stay low health on purpose, using the fucking vampire abilities. Really high mitigation, really high health bar. Stay at 50% all the time. Your stamina's never going to fucking run out. You can block forever. Just keep using the vampire ability over and over and over. If you have... I've read that one already. At the... Rav, how you doing? Welcome in. Phantom also welcome. At the... Precipice PPV. I feel like it's like the dude trying to pronounce countries. Philippine. I don't know how to fucking say that word. This passive activates when directly healing a target below 50% health, which allows you to use a corpse consuming ability against them within 10 seconds. Consuming or replacing this effect grants the target 2 ultimate. This effect can occur once every second. What the fuck? Passive activates when you directly heal a target below low health, which allows you to use corpse consuming ability against them within 10 seconds. So if you keep healing low health targets, you can spam consume corpse on them. You're sucking the life out of them. Precipice? You don't have to spell it out for me. Half the fun is in I can't fucking say it. Now it's not even funny. I can say it all the time now. We're never going to have that moment again. You're never going to get me to try and say something and say Philippine. It's gone. You ruined the joke, Radiant. Naughty. Never heard that word before. Don't know what the fuck it means. Don't care. Just a weird word. They should have just called it stealing shit. It would be great. Dragon, no. He's going to do it again. I'm sad with the necro passives. I'm not. Not the damage one. 25% increased damage? Woo-hoo-hoo. Bear in mind, this is only the first pass. I mean, we've got weeks of PTS yet. They're going to change stuff. And Inexorable Descent. This passive upgrades Landslide to grant 1% potency to damage and healing done and damage shield strength per stack. Potency 2 means the bonus applies to the base calculation of these events, causing it to become multiplicative with other bonuses. You didn't explain what that meant. You just said words. So it's going to be upgraded. Potency 2 means the bonus applied to the base calculation. This passive upgrades Landslide to also grant 1% potency to damage and healing. So each stack of it, I would say, will increase your percentage of damage and healing done. And damage shields. It's hard to precipice unless it's frozen or in a sealed cylinder. Don't say cylinder. My poor car. Booming Voice. This passive upgrades rank 2 of Storm Voice. Bear in mind, they use the word storm. They got Landslide right. They use storm. Booming is correct. Storm. Storm sounds like sorcerer. Make it make sense. Where the fuck did I get to? Also grant you 1 health, magicka, and stamina per ultimate spent for 10 seconds. Lot more resources back. That will probably give you... What are we looking at? It's set to 6 at the moment, isn't it? So... Take Flight it's not going to be as... It's not going to be exactly the same as corrosive armor currently is, but it wouldn't be far off. Wildfire Embers. In fact, the banner would be the equivalent of what it used to be. Or corrosive armor would be equivalent of what the banner used to be, if you were getting resources back. Wildfire Embers, this passive now upgrades your Dragonite damage over time effects that apply to enemies. Searing Strike, Dragon Fire Breath, Burning Talons, Shatter Spike Mantle to apply a unique 12-second damage over time effect on enemies whenever the triggering abilities end. This effect... Oh, no. This damage effect stacks up to 12 times, increasing by 25% damage per stack, up to 275%. Stay with me here. You know the heavy version of hot sauce? Essentially, that would mean that when you do your heavy attack for your big boom, this now slaps on top of it afterwards, before you've even spun up your dots again. Hopefully it doesn't get consumed by anyone going on top of it. Anyway, end in this case means naturally expiring, being recast early, or being cleansed, as most skills are. And in an ESO, if any skill says it explodes at the end, a recast finishes the old one and starts a new one, so that's why the unstable wall of elements you can use as an AR effect, boom, which is why people recast it over and over and over. Read that one already. Let me get a drink. Looks pretty good. Base damage is 10.5% of your weapon and spell damage and 1% of your maximum magicka or stamina. So your highest offensive stat. That's actually pretty fucking mad. Resolute Defense. This passive increases the amount of damage you can block by 6% every second you remain bracing, up to fucking hell. 30%. Blocking has a 20% chance to restore stamina up to once every 250 milliseconds. Every 1 second, if your dice roll is really good, you could get back 2,000 stamina while blocking. On top of the way that Almost Immortal Warrior is already built, having constant burning status effect, giving you resources back as well. Permablock DK, right? Fucking hell. Lead from the front. This passive upgrades rank 2 of Storm Voice to apply major berserk and protection for 1 second per ultimate spent to you and group member. Oh my fucking word. And group members within 28 meters of you. So I can hear people already, because people like to delete stuff rather than add stuff. I can hear people already shouting, what's the point in the fucking lightning atro then? Because your DK could use any ultimate here and get that buff. Oh shit. That's fucking broken. 1 second per 15 ultimate. So you got 10 seconds out of Dragon Leap, almost. Shit. That's pretty fucking OP. Especially if you've got really high ulti regen in your group, which is easy to achieve, especially if you've got Feed or Malcolm in your group. That's a tank and a healer, by the way. They nerfed this and it only affects 6 people rather than 12 it currently does, but I'm gonna be held accountable for my actions. They won't do that for everything anyway, because the cap is supposed to be 6 for AoE stuff, but they're still messing with some of that stuff in Cyrodiil at the moment, especially the Vengeance stuff. They're trying to standardize stuff. Also, they can't nerf this. This cannot be nerfed. Do you know why? It's not real. It can be adjusted before it is real. Now, the stuff that is live, that's different. Skyrim is almost 3, just 4 more levels for my mythics. I'm going to need a therapist when I'm done. No, you're not. You'll have loads of money. Arcanist! It's real to me, damn it. At least you understand. See, that's funny. That is funny. It's real to me. Acknowledging that it's not actually real yet, but I want it. So that's fine. But when you've got stupid people on the internet, they go, yeah, they nerfed it. No, they didn't. It's not out yet. Yeah, it's still nerfed. Yes, dear. Abyssal Emergence. I think I said that right. Have you ever tried to read out... I had to do this on my class guide and obviously builds and all the rest of it. Have you ever tried to read out one after the other all the Arcanist skills? Your tongue will end up wrapped around your fucking ears. They have got some special words. This passive upgrades your Arcanist ultimates to immediately generate 3 Cruxes upon activation, while also granting 666 weapon and spell damage for 15 seconds after activating. Fucking hell. So you can go straight into a beam. Ulti drop, beam. Instant. Fate Realigned, this passive upgrades rank 2 of Impeccable Outcome to also generate 3 Crux upon activation, and to grant 300 weapon and spell damage for 25 seconds up from 15. Up to once every 15. Holy fuckballs. Outbound Potential. This passive upgrades a rank 2 of Fated Fortune to also increase your damage done by 30% for 7 seconds. 30% increase to damage! Drop ulti, insta beam, and 30% increase to damage. Erudite's Rigor. This passive upgrades Fate Woven Armor to also grant you 1 ultimate and 300 magicka and stamina when you take damage. Holy shit. Increased by 100 magicka and stamina per crux that you have, up to once every 2 seconds. Holy balls. That is a lot of resources back in a very short space of time. Ink Scribe Verve. This passive enables you to generate a crux when you heal or overheal a total of 750,000 health while in combat. Well, that's fucking easy. Book Wizard's going to be able to do that all day long. You can do that in about 3 or 4 seconds. Especially if there's a big cluster of people. Just beam all the Cruxes back. Beam all the Cruxes back. Dirty. Arcanist is dirty as fuck anyway. Now it's just got a big boost to, well, beam setups. Drop an ulti and just have at it. Werewolf! Werewolf experience has been updated alongside the Combat Refresh Initiative, updating almost all of its combat effects in some capacity. At its core, we've made sweeping changes that should align towards making the transformation more fluid, easier to sustain, and manage with more overall potential build, craft, and support. Added a new Prowl mechanic, we went over this earlier, which replaces Crouch while transformed. Prowl costs 5,130 stamina to activate and grants 6 seconds of 66% reduced aggression radius. Enemies will require you to be closer to them before they notice you attack. Yeah, we got that. And stealth detection. This is equal to the same strength as detection potion. There is a 3-second cooldown on activating Prowl to prevent excessive stamina loss. I don't think 6 seconds is that long. Prowl does not have a unique animation, but instead overrides your character posture to begin to sniff around. This will blend out while attacking. So this is basically your Mage Light. Slaughterer, new mechanic, which is a new synergy that becomes active against targets that you would normally be able to use Blade of Woe or Vampire Feed against. You'll have to experiment to see for yourself what it all entails. You don't know, do you? But this is largely meant for fun. For fun first experience rather than an in-combat decision-making tool. It's quite potent in higher difficulties of challenge mode, however. Alright, keep your secrets. Werewolf Transformation. This ultimate and its morphs have been largely reworked in regards to how they function to cast and manage. These ultimates now only require 100 to activate, but will continue to drain 100 ultimate every 10 seconds while they are active. Failing to have 100 ultimate when the cost per tick occurs will forcibly de-transform you. This cost to maintain transformation is now completely disabled outside of combat to help mitigate the need to constantly engage in combat. Ultimate generation is no longer disabled while transformed, making it the primary method of sustaining your werewolf form. Play testable, yeah. So building ultimate is the trick, so stay in combat. Completely rescripted the back end of the transformation, resulting in all werewolf effects and passives to only apply while transformed, and a college dissertation level of data structure and ranges or changes even, rather than applying permanent and constant checking if you are in werewolf form or not. This should have no observable changes in behavior unless called out otherwise in further sections. Okay, so what they mean is they changed some stuff. They had to put this in here. They had to put college dissertation level data structuring, just to let you know that they're really clever. I should hope so. You are working for a multi-billion-dollar company. You should be clever. And if you're not, I want to know how stupid people get that much money. Where did I get to? It's largely non-player facing and only aims at helping cut down on combat calculations for werewolf characters. We saved 15 whole effects, which is a new record. Nice. Good for you. More cookies. However, if you experience issues where you lose access to passives or other effects while in werewolf form, please let us know. Will do. Transforming into werewolf no longer increases your maximum stamina by 30%. Instead, all werewolf abilities that scale with stamina or magicka will now be 30% more dense in their scaling, allowing for similar levels of combat power as before, without the added bonus of having a deeper resource pool. So they'll just scale differently. Reduce the poison damage taken in werewolf form to 10% down from 25. You took away the poison abilities of the DK. I don't think it's too much of a problem anymore. Werewolf stamina cost and abilities, they will be, because they'll bring out a poison class. Werewolf's stamina cost and abilities, aside from the core combat mechanics such as block, bash, dodge, and prowl, now cost 1/3 of their ability category counterpart, rather than costing 25% more. This was done to help open more potential build opportunities for non-stamina damage dealers to utilize Werewolf, while also adding to the sensation that this ultimate is a transformation that makes you more powerful in some capacity. The cost is now almost exclusively on maintaining the form, rather than the form and your normal resources, helping simplify its combat loop and letting you focus while the beast is unleashed. How dramatic. Werewolf combat actions no longer see a 15% damage increase in their scaling. We'll cover this more in each ability, but fear not, werewolves are stronger than they were before in most cases, with some other adjustments. Okay. The unique bar that activates while in werewolf form has been reworked to house a new mechanic called Fury. That says Fury, not Furry. Fury is a unique resource that generates from activating werewolf abilities while in combat. It stores up to 1,000, and each ability activated grants 15 at base. Fury does not decay, but leaving werewolf form will result in losing all built-up fury. Morphs and passives both can expedite the amount of fury generated, or can even add more forms of generating it. While you have 1,000, your ultimate ability will be replaced with Rampage. Activating Rampage drains all the fury, grants you a 20-second window of increased power, increased movement speed, damage done by 15%, and removes the cost of all werewolf abilities, including the transformation. Please tell me you turn into a fucking behemoth. Activating Rampage will temporarily disable your ability to activate the werewolf transformation again to increase the sensation of loss of control in the inner beast, as well as making it harder to accidentally activate and immediately lose the effect if you input the button multiple times and detransform. Juffy. Dragon, how you doing? Werewolf light attacks no longer have their base damage capped at 4813 like other light attacks, in efforts to help add more potential damage while transformed. Werewolf Berserker. This morph now grants major berserk while transformed. Updated the bleed from this morph to apply on light attacks and heavy attacks rather than only light. The bleed now appears to stacks of up to 5 in total, and upon reaching 5, the 1-second delay will be removed, allowing you to deal much more consistent damage while sticking to the target. Stacks do not augment damage or duration. The bleed no longer fails to reapply if it is already active, meaning the first few light attacks will result in the damage decrease while drastically increasing beyond. Reduce the duration of bleed to 3 seconds, down from 4. Gotta keep applying pressure, obviously. Reduce the damage scale by 35.5% on weapon and spell damage and 16% on magic and stamina. Heavy attacks in this form no longer create area of effect in a cone around the target. This morph now also improves Devour, which will be explained in a passive section. Alright. Pack Leader. This morph now increases the amount of damage you can block by 30% and grants you major protection while transformed. Holy fucking tank balls. Woof just got buffed, rather than a unique 10% damage reduction. It continues to spawn 2 direwolves and grants you and nearby members minor courage. This morph also improves Rampage to Enduring Rampage, which adds 4,000 health recovery to its base effects. Holy fuck balls. 4,000 health recovery to its base effects. Ooh, that's a lot. Especially if you stack that up with other buffs and bonuses. Read this in a minute. Adjusted the attack speed of direwolves to happen at a more consistent rate rather than going in between erratically fast and slow attacks. Fixed an issue where the damage of the direwolves did not dynamically scale with your offensive stats. Fixed an issue where the damage done was missing rank up progression built in, resulting in a 3.3% damage increase. Added some minor variants to their attacks so they do not attack in perfect unison, and making them feel less like a hive mind entity and more like wolves fighting in a pack. Holy shit, that's a lot of spoilers. Get a drink, people. Get a drink. There is a lot to unpack here. A good opening line. So we'll start with the overall intentions and design philosophies. Do you think they like their work? This isn't so much a spoiler, more of a fully published novel. Right, here we go. Our goals for the Werewolf refresh are relatively simple. Improve the user flow of entering, sustaining, and playing as a werewolf while updating it to something that has more build potential. Ooh. As if they want you to make builds. Well, Captain Police over there, wherever he is, loads of them, tell you not allowed. The experience is meant to be different from the other combat options while still being familiar enough to approach and play. Thank you for the follow! Originally, the form introduced many stipulations that acted as overrides to rules, while the updated form should instead feel like arguments to the rules, rather than overriding your ultimate and disabling the mechanic completely while introducing a new one. It now hooks into existing ultimate loop while also gaining access to ultimate level ability while transformed. I mentioned this a long time ago. It'd be fun to see what they're doing with it, but I mentioned this fucking ages ago. So did loads of other people. Vigix, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Where did I get to? Additionally, there are many more added effects that help reduce the high demand and stress of sustaining werewolf, such as the out of combat cost removal, the new rampage effect, and a few other hidden effects we've added for you to find. Is anyone hungry? Fucking hell. All these changes hopefully culminate into a more liberating transformation rather than a limiting one. To improve the build diversity side of things, we're also looking at a few core interactions to see where the existing limits were created. Originally, Werewolf is incredibly stamina focused, as abilities costed an exorbitant amount of stamina, and the transformation granted a unique bonus only to stamina. Despite their abilities mostly dynamically scaling, which they did, this created a lopsided experience that made playing a stamina build vastly superior, which made the transformation even less accessible to build types. We've shifted away from both of these stipulations by significantly reducing the stamina drain of active werewolf abilities. The focus is now on sustaining the form rather than the form and the abilities. Listen, good night, Zion Ninjas. Layers, dude. JL, how you doing? Where the fuck am I? And the abilities is where I was. There. And instead, baking the power of that massive stamina increase into the stat scaling of their abilities, meaning both magicka and stamina are effectively increased by their original amounts without the added effects of actually adjusting your character stats. We've also looked at morph engagement and tried to improve the split between the two dominant build focuses. Full-on aggression builds and bruisers, more chunky survivable damage dealers. Morphs now have more stark differences between them. Between what they do for the most part, either granting more outright damage production, adding utility or survival upgrades, or adding more mechanical complexity to the base abilities. Because most people pick one morph and that's it. Apart from if you want to be a tank, in which case you'll change one skill. The ulti, basically, and the taunt. Our other focus of the Werewolf Refresh was the combat flow of what it means to play as a werewolf. The werewolf's ability bar overrides, removes, and accesses to bar swap. Removes the access to bar swap, which introduces a more digestible but ultimately simpler combat flow. This is often seen as a positive and a negative, and we've looked at these abilities closely to try and retain the good parts of the simplicity while also working on trying to flesh out a bit more depth to improve the negative aspects. At its core, the werewolf experience is still pretty straightforward, being a big, brutal badass, jumping into a fight, prioritizing speed and aggression, and chasing your prey with relentless attacks are all still here. However, we've reevaluated some of our original stipulations, they use that word a lot, to these abilities to try and make them a bit more user-friendly, while also trying to ensure each button press has more than one context in which you'd want to use it. Bollocks. Go back. In some cases, what did I get to? In some cases, such as pounce, that means completely dividing the ability to two separate states, When target and far away enemies, it swaps to a gap closer ability, and when target and enemies in melee range, the damage over time, it turns into damage over time ability. Yeah, but you have to cast it, hit, cast it, hit, cast it, hit, stack, 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 stack. Both the same abilities as before, but with more dynamic experience that gives you what you need in the context of the moment. Yeah, because jumping on the spot was a bit fucking weird. Other abilities, such as Roar, now have multiple outcomes that cover a larger array of effects to offer more utility and reasons to press the button. Roar continues to operate as a primary crowd control, while also being a support function by housing the Feeding Frenzy synergy. Excuse me. This still having solo play application by granting you Blood Hunger, an effect that amplifies some of your other werewolf abilities. These updates should all help improve your overall combat effectiveness while adding some additional nuance and mastery to the experience. So you change stuff. Good. Pounce and Carnage. That's a really big spoiler. They gave the pen to someone in the office and went, you need to write what you're doing about the werewolf. It's like, in the patch notes? Yeah, you're going in the patch notes. Really? What, like, the real ones? Yeah, you're going in there. Don't fuck it up. It's like, this is my moment. Puts a blanket over his head, lights a fucking candle, gets a quill out. That's what happened there. That's quill talk. Right. Interesting, nonetheless. These abilities and their morphs now dynamically update themselves based on your distance from the target. Rather than requiring you to activate Pounce and then locking you in activation Carnage for 5 seconds after, Pounce is only available when you are greater than 7 meters from the target, while Carnage takes over when you are 7 meters or closer. Ahaha! Hi, how you doing? Welcome in. So it's a gap closer at range and melee swingy if you're close. Note that this will result in only Carnage displaying on your hotbar when... I lost my fucking line. When you hover over it outside of the skill system, as you are the context of the target. Or you are. Your skill book will always display Pounce, reduce the cost of Pounce and its morphs by to 1071, down from 4,000. Adjusted the damage of Pounce to 0.63 weapon or spell damage, and 0.078 of magicka and stamina, rather than a little bit more than that, and 0.075. Reduce the cost of Carnage's morphs to 995, down from 2,000 as well. Adjusted the damage per tick to a 0.09 and some other numbers. Weapon and spell damage, and 0.0118182 magicka and stamina. Rather that they did this last time. I think they fucked this up because before they were supposed to put percentages and someone put all the actual digits and they've done it again. All the way through this, they've done like percentages or point percentages. Now they're doing digits. I think they fixed it last time they did this because that wasn't supposed to happen. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Increase the base duration to 12 seconds, up from 10. Brutal Pounce and Carnage. Increase the radius of these abilities to 7 meters, up from 5. Brutal Carnage's damage over time now stacks up to 3 times, increasing by 10 seconds per stack, rather than granting stacking weapon and spell damage when hitting enemies. Yeah, that thing was clunky. I'm using it now, Quill Talk. Good. If you haven't used it before, you jump, and then you build up a dot, and then you slap to get to the next stage, and you jump, and you build up a dot, and then slap to get to the next stage. And if you don't do that repeatedly, you'll lose the 6 stacks that you eventually find kind of worked up. And they're trimming that down to make it a lot easier to manage. Feral Pounce and Carnage morphs now grants 200 stamina each time you either portion of their ability deals damage, rather than granting you 100 stamina and 1 second of werewolf timer. Whenever either version of this morph deals damage, it will also trigger Fury generation, in addition to Fury generated for activating it, up to once every 4 seconds. This allows Feral Pounce to generate it twice per cast, and Feral Carnage to generate it up to 3 times over its duration. So, instead of hitting and hitting and hitting and having a bar that keeps you in werewolf, you have one that generates Fluffy. Fucking hell, the spoilers are long today. When making this ability and its 2 morphs significantly more straightforward to use by having them automatically update to the effect that you need at the moment. When you need to close the distance, the Pounce variant of the ability will take over and allow you to leap at your enemy, while Carnage variant will be available when you are within melee range of your foe. We already got that. We're also slightly adjusting the morph differences to be less about raw damage versus utility, and going into 2 forms of utility, both of which have the potential for damage. Okay. Brutal Pounce and Carnage remain better for area of effect damage, and Carnage saves on global cooldowns, letting you experience a more simplified rotation, especially helpful if you plan on using one of the reworked morphs of Rending Claws. While Feral Pounce aids in stamina management through block, and helps you activate Rampage more frequently, which grants a larger damage steroid. So they're still your builders, they're just not as complicated. Hercine's Bounty. Reduce the healing of this ability by 8%. Reduce the cost of this ability and its morphs to 4320, down from 5730. That's a fucking lot. This ability and Hercine's Rage now restore 10% of your maximum stamina, increasing by 1% for every 1% current health you have, up to a maximum of 20%. So it will give you 30 back. After the heal, rather than giving you 2700 to 3000 stamina if you were at full health before the heal went off. So now it's about how much you've got rather than only when full, which is a bit of a game changer, to be fair. But obviously the more you've got, the better. Also, that's not a raw number. That's a percentage based on your maximum. So if you're really fucking chunky, that's huge. If you're really squishy, not so much. Hercine's Fortitude. Reduce the healing of this morph by 19%. Fucking hell. Ouch. This morph now increases the stamina restore to 12% of your maximum stamina at base, increasing by 1% for every 1% current health you have. Up to 24%. So bigger heal, technically. Although that drop, that's painful. This morph now adds major vitality while slotted. Okay, so it is bigger. Rather than granting minor fortitude and endurance for 20 seconds. So more stand back. Quite chunky with a heal. Hercine's Rage. This morph now heals based off of offensive stats. So if you're a squishy, rather than max health. The heal is 17% weaker than a traditional burst heal, such as Rush Ceremony. Breath of Life for those who don't know what that is. This morph now increases your damage done and taken for 12 to 15 seconds up to 12% based on how high your current health percent is, rather than applying Major Berserk and increasing your damage taken by 10 down to 7% for 10 seconds if you were at full health. Yeah, because if you had the buff, you would be easier to hit. This morph now generates double Fury on activation and adds minor Berserk while slotted. So you hit harder. It doesn't apply Major Berserk, which means you can stack it. Fucking hell. Good job my voice is not wrecked or anything. We're toning down how much raw healing this ability and its morphs can do, while simultaneously adding more purpose to the button press for resource management for tanks or in PvP encounters. Now, rather than being a binary heal versus restore, it will grant both and will reward you in similar situations, granting more resources while at higher health. Well, that was it. Thought there's more coming, there wasn't. Hercine's Fortitude sees a decrease in the initial heal, but gains the potential to be healed significantly more while in groups or using other effects and morphs, helping out the tankier paths, while Hercine's Rage continues to focus on offensive nature, but with a heavier or healthier balance, as both the bonuses and the punishments degrade as you weaken, while also healing more effectively for damage dealers. So the more efficient you are with your health, the better your management. The lower it is, the squishier you get, or the harder it is to claw it back. Raw, they've completely fucking changed, haven't they? This ability and its morphs now have a 350 millisecond cast time before they apply their effects to help better line up their animations to their outcomes, fixing issues where you would be feared before even seeing the animation. Increase the radius to 10 meters up from 7. Reduce the cost to 1,071, down from 4.3k. Fucking hell. This ability and its morphs now apply a stack of Blood Hunger for 30 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. Blood Hunger empowers Natch, previously Pierce and Howl, and Claw Fury, previously Claws of Anguish, to deal additional damage. So debuff on target, loads of extra damage. These abilities no longer apply Terrified. This is effectively an easier to use form of the mechanic, with more interplay within their toolkit. I made up the word tool then, it doesn't belong there. Well, it does, they just didn't put it there. This ability and its morphs are now home of the Feeding Frenzy synergy rather than being placed on Howl of Despair. Feeding Frenzy is granted to up to 12 nearby allies. You broke the rule. Ooh, AoE stuff is supposed to be 6. Why 6? I don't know, because the groups are 4 and 12, but whatever. For 10 seconds within the radius of Raw. Feeding Frenzy now lasts 30 seconds, up from 20, and increases damage done by 6%, instead of granting Empower. Synergy comes to grant Minor Force as well. This here, that's a synergy. Synergies have a 20-second cooldown. If that lasts 30 seconds instead of 20, you're going to be able to overlap it. So you can have it forever. Deafening Roar, this morph now applies Major Maim and Cowardice. Fucking hell. To enemies hit for 12 to 15 seconds rather than Major Breach and Minor Maim. This the passive slot for this morph now grants Major Evasion and Minor Protection rather than Major Protection, which you've got covered anyway from other stuff. As this was moved to Pack Leader. See, if you're a Pack Leader and you're using this, you've got Major Protection. You've got a fuck ton of stupid heals. You've got Major Maim and Major Cowardice. They can't hit you for shit. Evasion as well. No AoE for you. Rather than... Oh, I've read that one already. This move to Pack Leader. Purchasing this morph will automatically upgrade your Natch and morphs the rework of Pierce and Howl to also taunt the enemy if the ability was cast while bracing, making taunting more deliberate and less dangerous compared to the previous slot passive Heavy Attack and Taunt. Well, the thing is, it wasn't dangerous. It was fucking great. It's just that people don't read their passives. You got to read your skills. And if you don't want us to read the skills, you wouldn't give us this much text. Ferocious Roar. This morph now also applies Major Courage to you and 11 people. Holy shit. Goodbye, SPC. Fucking hell. Allows you to use your own synergy and grants 2 stacks of Blood Hunger on cast rather than increasing the speed of your heavy attacks by 33%. Fucking hell. Don't be a big wall of text. Bastard. We're making Raw and its morphs the home of the Feeding Frenzy synergy in efforts to make the effect more easily accessible, while also adding a little incentive to bring in the pack to groups with a unique damage bonus. Additionally, we're improving the Terrified mechanic into Blood Hunger, which can now stack for multiple uses, helping reward a more diverse rotation in PvE and PvP, while also being easier to use at the baseline. Blood Hunger isn't completely exclusive to Raw either, as the effect can now be referenced by other morphs for those who are looking to sink their teeth into a more complicated rotation. This should help keep Werewolf experience simpler, but with some added forms of mastery for those who find themselves hungry for more. Ooh, he's loving his quill right now. Piercing Howl. Natch. They've changed the word of it, and the name of it. Domino's been streaking for 5 days. Thank you very much. This ability and its morphs now have been completely reworked into a melee 7-meter driven double bite attack, rather than a 10-meter projectile Howl. The ability now scales with 0.525 of your weapon and spell damage, and 0.065 of your magicka or stamina. Twice. Devils, how you doing? Rather than a singular 1.3. You have to go back to telling people percentages because they're not going to listen to this. The initial hit deals physical damage. It's nice to see all the digits, obviously, but when you're doing patch notes like this, bracketed at least. They've gone half on one part of the list and half on the other. They've kind of changed the process. Sorry, I was just excited about the Heart of Flame buff. My build just got even more invincible. I should hope so. So have all the builds on the channel. It's insane. Especially Almost Immortal Warrior. Where the fuck was I? Ah, there we are. The initial hit deals physical damage, while the second hit deals bleed damage. Both attacks have a 10% chance of applying their respective status effect. Fucking hell. Don't forget, you've got passives and bonuses that go alongside that. The second hit happens after 0.4 of a second. No cast time, so it can be animation cancelled with no loss, and deals 200% bonus damage to targets under low health, so 25%. So you got an execute on top of it. If one or more stacks of Blood Hunger are active, the initial hit deals 25% bonus damage and one stack is consumed. So you're building up this shit to hit even harder at low health, and if you have got them built up, it does even more. Reduce the cost of this ability and its morphs to 765, down from 2,869. Shit the bed. That's fucking mental. It's a quarter of the cost. All right. I'm good. How are you? Dude, I'm knackered. My voice was wrecked from yesterday's stream already, and I've gone through like 4 of these today, and now it's scratchy. There's some good stuff. Howl of Despair, Rip and Tear. This morph upgrades the first hit to always apply Sundered status. Ouch, that's weapon and spell damage of 100. That also applies a direct damage hit. As well as inflicting major breach to the target for 15 seconds. The second hit heals you for 0.271163 of your maximum health and ranks up to 1.1% per rank. See what I mean here? The inconsistency with the numbers. If you're going to explain to people the details, make it make sense. And if you're going to have both, fair enough, but don't have one or the other, because here you've just got one. Sound drained, dude. Make sure you get decent night's sleep. Thanks, Dad! You can't tell a streamer, yeah, you sound drained. They're already self-conscious of it because they're in front of an audience. How you doing? I'm running out of this shit. Where did I get to? I've also read through all this stuff. I did words and everything. Hello, Zion Ninjas. How's the note so far? Pretty good. Sorry, son. Looking out for you. Thank you very much. Did you get my coffee? I ran out. Blood Hunger's 25% increase applies to both the base hit and the healing effect of its morphs. The morph no longer grants access to Feed and Frenzy as it has been moved to Raw. Fuck, these spoilers are huge. Werewolves have finally learned to put their jaws to use with this new spammable, rending flesh from their foes with a much more brutal 2-part attack. It's a double munch. It's like a shark. Baby shark. This is what the new ability is called, baby shark. Bugger, I knew I had to go out for some milk today, but then I forget to come back. See, that's what happens. If you're drained, drink potion. I'll let you have that one. I haven't got any potions, though. What do you recommend? I've lost my fucking way. Natch operates both your standard, fair, single target spammable and an execute both in one. So spam it until they're low health and spam it some more. Helping make up for werewolves' bar space deficit while leaning into their fantasy of Masters of the Hunt. So many trend words. Tried really hard to like wave the quill around and get all these posh words out. Well done. A hunter who cannot finish off their prey often returns empty-handed after all. Don't they just? Slap your knee, people. This helps werewolves become significantly more terrifying to low health foes while giving them a reason to stick closer to their enemies and make use of their speed boosts in melee range. The morphs once again split with more diversity, granting 2 utility-driven effects and can both lead to more damage, but with more of an option between damage or survival. Slap your knee. See, you got it. The previous iteration of Terrified has been reworked to Blood Hunger, which has slightly more interaction across their kit, while also being easier to use. You already said that. You're making me read stuff we already get. You didn't over-explain anything else. I think you like the werewolf a lot. This is made by a werewolf fan. Like, they're not just given a job. They're not, Derek, yeah, you're on werewolf today. Oh, fuck it, really? Do I have to be? Yep, you're making it fluffy. We're having a female one as well. 3 different colours. Changing all the skills around. Make it sound good. Oh, but I don't want to. No, that's not who's doing it. Whoever's doing this is part werewolf. They fucking love it. Infectious Claws. Rending Claws is what it's called now. This ability and Claws of Life morph have been adjusted to deal physical damage on their initial hit and bleed for their damage over time effect, rather than dealing disease damage on both hits. Reduce the initial hit's weapon and spell damage scaling by 20%. Fucking hell. And increase the magicka and stamina scaling by 4. The damage over time there lasts 10 seconds down from 20. Ouch. Increase the weapon and spell damage scaling. Wait. Increased the weapon and spell damage scaling by 92%. And the magicka and stamina scale by 150%. This ability and its morphs now have a target cap of 6 rather than hitting all enemies. An initial hit now has a 15% chance of applying Sundered, and damage over time has 5% of applying Hemorrhage rather than the initial hit always applying Diseased. Wow! So shit, it's like Unforgiven Carpet wrote them. As horrible as that may sound, That's funny. Claws of Anguish. Claw Fury. This morph has been reworked into a channeled attack that deals direct damage physically over 4.8. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm going to say it as it is. It's a beam. You heard the elitist fuckers saying no one can use beams because they're shit, even though they use them anyway. And then you gave us a DK beam, and now you're giving us a werewolf beam. I like the sound of the damage. It sounds fucking incredible, but don't make it a beam. It is a beam. It's AoE, close range, swingy, 4.8 seconds. Hitting up to 6 enemies closest to you in a 7-meter cone with a 90-degree arc up to 13 times. It's going to look cool, isn't it? Werewolf of real skill line now? Yeah, I mean, it always was, but you were limited to where you could really go with it. Mind you, put woof in the chat. If anyone's even mildly facetious about playing werewolf and you're like, oh, this shit, that's a tank, an actual tank. It's obviously going to have to be reworked, but that functions now. Use it. Where did I get to? 13 times. Claw Fury generates fury. I wasn't having a stroke. That's how I read it. It's correct. And a stack of Blood Hunger up to once every second while dealing damage with the ability. Claw Fury scales off 0.488093 weapon and spell damage and 0.060431 magicka and stamina per tick. Again, tell people what it is in percentages, because if people are trying to read this quickly, not every single person's a mathematician. This is going to switch some people off. They're not going to understand it. You did that with a set last time. I know you changed it in the patch notes because you fucked that up, but this, make your mind up which way you want to describe stuff. Basically, it's DK breath and werewolf. It's exactly what I just said. In fact, it's almost exactly the same words as I used. Except I did this. I don't know if you did it or not, because I can't see from here. You got purple name, but I can't see this. Claws of... No, not Claws of Life. I've got some more of this. And increases by 25% for each stack of Blood Hunger you have. When Claw Fury ends in any capacity, all stacks of Blood Hunger are removed. Ooh. So it all goes away. Claws of Life. Blood Claws. This morph now heals you... I can say words. Heals you... Not his... I fell off the fucking wagon then. Heals you for 40% in the initial hit done, rather than not healing at all on the initial hit. The damage over time now heals you for 6.2% of your maximum health when damaging an enemy, rather than healing for 66% of the damage done. Adjusted the rank up progression to 1.1% of the initial hit and 1.1% of the healing done for healing from damage over time. So, the more health you've got, the harder you are to kill. That's a given anyway, but this is... Well, it depends on how hard you hit. If you hit like a fucking wet blanket, the initial hit's going to be crap. But this here, 6.2% of your maximum health. If you're really, really chunky, that's a significant increase to your survival. That's fucking mad. We're generically buffing this skill to now be a full power area of effect attack and damage over time effect, rather than reducing the damage of the area of effect from the damage over time. As such, we're gently peeling back some of the cleave damage of the initial hit, while greatly increasing the damage over time potential in all capacities. So this ability feels more like 2 separate abilities rather than one blended ability. One was just damage and the other one was Healy with damage. Werewolves have finally also washed their damn hands, moving them away from disease damage in the kit, instead focusing on physical and bleed to help make more savage and brutal experience. Additionally, we're splitting the morph diversity to either add more healing for both damage and bruiser builds, and a rework morph that functions similar to something like engulfing dragonfire. Yes, we got that part. It's not even similar to it. It's almost exactly the same. 4.8 seconds, same timer. 7-meter cone, 90 degrees, same. The only difference is the damage type. Obviously, your animation is different, but the skill is effectively the same thing. Claw Fury is slightly weaker than the traditional Natch focus build in single target, but comes out ahead in encounters with multiple enemies packed together. They just described how to use a beam. Devour. Fuck, we're getting there. Unsatiable Hunger. This synergy now has a minor grace period of movement, or full movement even, allowing you to move slightly before and after activating it without causing the cast to be interrupted. Note that this grace period is not the same as Resurrection ability update that lets you move while casting it, and instead exists to give a small amount of time to let your momentum end if you cast it while moving. Increase the healing per tick to 20% of your maximum health, up from 8. Ouch. Resulting in 100% heal over the total duration, up from 40. Or 150% increase. That is actually pretty good. If you didn't know already, when you're munching on a body on the ground, you can actually, you heal off of it. What did I get to? Each tick now grants... Fucking hell. Each tick now grants 15 ultimate rather than 3 seconds of werewolf timer. What? Activating this synergy will disable the cost to maintain werewolf transformation for 12 seconds. Rather than disabling the cost of maintaining only while channeling. This passive will also trigger fury generation each tick if you are werewolf berserker, even if you are outside of combat. That's broken. Pursuit, master of the chase. This passive bonus to heavy attack resource return now only occurs at rank 2, as it is largely irrelevant for most playstyles after the cost reduction changes and cuts down on performance. Yeah, the amount of reduction to cost for skills means this is fucking redundant anyway. It's crazy. Is one of the Stone Garden abilities like that? The blue icon, maybe? Where did he get to? The blue icon? What blue icon? You mean the Behemoth? Behemoth's got red icons. Oh, you mean the Frost Breath, number 5. You heal first and then it turns into Frost Breath. No, not quite. I mean, technically speaking, they could probably use the same telegraph for it. But it's swinging instead. You're swinging your claws, the animation. And it's bleed. But yeah, I mean, it's not far off, is it? If it slows you down, then yeah. Where do we get to? Blood Rage. This passive now increases the amount of fury you generate by 5 up to 10 per source, rather than adding 3 or 5 seconds of werewolf timer. Excuse me. Shadow of the Blood Moon. I mean, Shadow of the Blood Moon. Blood Moon. You didn't really need to change the name. Just a simple name change that updates the name away from implying the actual blood moon is happening every week. Okay. So, Eclipse. Or, no, that would be Shadow of the Sun, wouldn't it? No, that is Shadow of the Moon, because the sun's behind it. So yeah, you should have called it Eclipse. It would have been amazing. Savage Strength. Feral Cruelty. Increase the amount of weapon and spell damage granted from this passive to 16 to 33%, up from 9 to 8. Okay. Call of the Pack is now called Call of the Hunt. This passive now works by reducing the ulti cost of maintaining werewolf, rather than reducing the timer drained every second. The percentages are the same as before and works identically. If it works identically, I mean, just call it the same. More spoilers. There's a lot of spoilers. It's going to repeat what they already said. Riansu, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. This might be a place where... this might be a place we iterate based on feedback, as we understand that this passive is vital to allowing werewolves to identify... indefinitely sustain their morphs. I'm having trouble fucking saying words now. More than usual. But requires utilizing the pack leader morph or playing with up to 3 werewolves or playing with pack leader to really gain effectiveness from... Oh, so I just read that completely wrong. Let's try again. Let's do a full sentence. Ready? This might be a place we iterate based on feedback, as we understand that this passive is vital to allowing werewolves to indefinitely sustain their forms, but requires utilizing the pack leader morph or playing with up to 3 werewolves or playing with pack leader to really gain effectiveness from. I honestly thought that was going to be a short sentence. I stopped halfway through. I ran out of air. We're cautiously optimistic that the other sweeping changes to the werewolf form sustain will be enough to keep the core experience a case where sustaining your form is something you feel spurred to do, but with far more grace than before. So let us know your thoughts. Okay, first of all, depends on how you played. Maintaining werewolf was not that difficult. Secondly, lots of spoilers. Let me press buttons and I'll tell you what I think. I'm not going to say anything really, because I can't see it yet. If in doubt, try it out. Scripts, Class Mastery. This script has been renamed Class Flourish to avoid confusion with Class Mastery. Flourish wasn't much better. I mean, you decided to use this name for the new system. So you should have called the new system something different. You should have called it Monoclass. You're watching. Warden, this script now causes charmed enemies to walk to the center of the area rather than follow the caster. This was done in an effort to try to mitigate the frequency this charm could force enemies through terrain. It's still a funky fucking skill. It's one of those things that was in lots of other MMOs. It was in EverQuest for fucking years, still is. Very, very cool skill. Mesmerize, they usually call it. Charm or mesmerize. Charm is normally controlling an enemy and making it your pet. Mesmerize is kind of making it not hit anybody. And, the amount of interruptions that it has just by doing fucking damage and stuff is funky. Updated the backend script of shield throws knockback signature combination in efforts to help mitigate the experience of desyncing during high latency conditions. Sets! Finally. New sets. The Prowler's Talisman. Prowler's Talisman is a new kind of mythic that's available to everyone. It is not found in Antiquities, rather you can acquire it by going through the new Thieves Guild storyline. It can be equipped at any level, and its power increases as you complete associated content. The stats listed here are for the baseline talisman. While Battle Spirit is inactive, bracing while crouching turns you invisible for 10 seconds. Invisible! This can occur once every 45 seconds. So block while crouching and you disappear. Actual invis on any class. Increases your chance of successfully pickpocketing by 5%. On dealing critical damage, increase your maximum magicka and stamina for 10 seconds up to 1900 at 10 stacks. On dealing non-critical damage, increase your health, magicka, and stam recovery. Either effect can occur up to once a second. So if you do crit, you get big resources. If you don't crit, you get recovery to keep hitting to get big resources. Fun. You're on 90%. Yeah. Basically. Class sets. We finally got the other... No, we didn't. We still do those. We'll do Infinite Archive bosses and minions and more buffs and bonuses and marauders and sets. We actually do one set per class now. Anyway, the Warden stuff. So this set now increases your damage done by 10% rather than only damage done with animal companion skills. That is... I'll use the word I really mean. That's a little bit lazy. Because the Sorcerer already has a set that buffs flat damage or all damage. And turning that into the same thing, I don't like it. Animal companion specific, fair enough, you can build towards that. Just damage? I mean, you could just use something else. Anyway, Etheric Lancer updated the damage proc from this set, so it's considered to be a class ability. This should help the set scale with a few more interactions, namely a few template-specific ones. The weapon and spell damage from this set now persists for 10 seconds, up from 6 to help improve the uptime on the actual combat. Good, that's a really funky set. It's actually really good, depending on how you use it, obviously, but the timer was a bit shit. Beacon of Oblivion adjusted the damage and healing bonuses while no permanent pet is active, and Battle Spirit to activate to 7% up from 5, so more useful in PvP. Monolith of Storms increased the damage from this set by 37.5%. This set now grants 200 weapon and spell damage for every monolith active. That is pretty damn cool. That is a good one. Pyrebrand, don't fuck this up. Updated this set to interact with Wildfire Embers, the new class mastery passive. You know, the dot that goes on after the dots got run out. Rather than being based off of generic damage over time effects, decrease the damage of the damage over time on the proc by 31%. That's huge. Decrease the damage of the area of effect proc by 26%. That's also huge. Heavy attacking now removes up to 3 stacks of Wildfire Embers of your Pyrebrand, rather than up to 3 damage over time effects. Whoa! Adjusted the bonus effect of 25% per stack up to 300% at maximum, rather than 20% per damage over time. So this heavy, if you're taking advantage of that passive in conjunction with this set, is going to be fucking huge. So while your passive overall damage by light hit, keeping the dots up and then just pulling them off, your dots won't go away, the passive will be reduced, and the heavy attack will be more. If you line those up and kind of stagger them, that's a huge increase in a very unique scenario. Or specific scenario. So flat, this is all lower. Although, at least your dots stay on when you do a heavy attack. You'd have to keep recasting the bastards. This, if you use the passive, not so bad. See, they're putting the effort here, but then this is shit. Yeah, whatever. Soul Cleaver adjusted the set's 3-piece bonus to give it crit chance rather than max magicka. This set's 5-piece bonus now increases the damage and healing and reduces the cost of siphoning abilities by 15% down from 21. Draining ultimate from this set now increases your damage done by up to 12% based on how high your current health is for 12 seconds. See, again, that's fully reworked. I mean, it still technically works here in a way that it used to, but adjusted a bit. But the more damage from it, based on how high your health is, trying to keep you kind of siphoning all the time, which is the skill line, of course. Splattered Disjunction. This set now also increases damage done with status effects by 40% while worn and generates crux when the set activates. BFG's not using it. But if it did, status effects would be nuts. Rafsun. I love this set, but it's funky. This set now stacks up to 30 times down from 40. You can build that really, really quick already. 30 is going to be pretty fucking strong. There's a 25% reduction in stacks. Making it easier to reach a maximum potency sooner. Increasing the magical recovery per stack to 21 up from 12. Also very nice. Helping offset the penalty of this set over the course of the fight while retaining the highs and the lows for sustained draw. Rafsun at maximum stacks will now increase the damage done by temporary abilities skill line abilities by 25% against players is 10, rather than the damage scaling on Dawn's Wrath abilities only. Ooh. That is an option on only beams. That will improve all your temper damage. Oh. So stack up Dawn's Wrath abilities to get the stacks, which is quicker, and it affects all abilities for Templar. That is a substantial buff. It is a very strong tweak to that set. And then again, this one, fucking shit. Dungeon stuff. Yorval's Guidance. This set bonus duration is now properly reflected in tooltips. Good. Savage Werewolf adjusted this 2-piece set to be a crit chance rather than max stamina, and the 4-piece to be weapon and spell damage rather than stam recovery. This set's 5-piece now also grants a 6% damage done while in werewolf form. Hello! That one stacks a bleed. Just over and over. Every time you do light attacks and shit, you just put a bleed on them for like 4 seconds or so. That's the one I'm thinking of. Not bad. Crit and weapon damage is really fucking helpful for that. You don't need the max stamina anyway, because obviously they've altered that with the stamina costs and everything. The recovery obviously covers that, so they've gone like, you want crit and damage, don't you? Yeah. Okay, have some. It also affects the proc. Mythic items. Crypt Cannon's Vestments. Don't fuck with this. I use it on feed. This set did not... This set did now properly I thought I was reading it wrong then. I'll read it exactly as it is. This set did now properly disable slot passives on Ultimate It Override. The person with the quill has run out of fucking ink, so he decided to shorten it. This set did now properly disable slot passives of Ultimate It Override. This now does, I guess, properly disable slot passives of Ultimate It Overrides. So if you had Earth and Heart on your front bar, an Earth and Heart skill, so Corrosive Armor, then the passives that come with it don't come with it because it takes the ultimate away. That's what they really mean. Sometimes it do be like that. Multiple tense changes, right? What they mean is, I'll translate for you. If you have a siphoning ultimate on your bar, those siphoning passives no longer support that because it's not really there. Because that set replaces it. That set removes your ultimate and turns it into a unique skill where you consume ulti and then feed it to the group. That's why the build is called Feed. But this here, someone either ran out of ink or had a stroke or both. Shattered Path Signet. This set's bonus damage done effect with status effects is now reduced by... It's fine. It's fine. It does make sense this time. It's reduced based on the number of permanent pets you have. The value is divided by 1 plus the number of permanent pets. So at 1 pet, it will be halved. 2 pets, it will be reduced by a third, and so on. This is additive with the player target reduction as well. We're toning down how strong this mythic can be in ultra niche cases by targeting the relative problem space, pet builds, and especially ones that utilize Feral Guardian. The music is appropriate. It's really sad. What is this music? This isn't Elder Scrolls. Oh, it is. Just right at the end. We'll start again. How dramatic. Hide of the Werewolf. This set now grants triple ultimate generation, 18, while in werewolf form rather than 6. Ooh, very nice. PvP sets. The following sets have received changes to their non-keystone bonuses, meaning they're single stat lines like 2 pieces and 4 pieces, or 2 to 4 piece bonuses, to better align what their keystone bonuses are, as well as improve overall hybridization where it fits. So they did this with stuff like Reliquin and that, because Reliquin can't crit, and it had crit chance on it. So they changed it to weapon and spell damage, which actually supported the proc. So that's the short version. They're trying to make the mid-piece bonuses support the 5. So Affliction has now got weapon and spell damage rather than stamina, alongside offensive pen instead of stamina recovery. Blunted Blades on the 3 pieces got crit resistance rather than stamina. Coup de Grace has got offensive pen instead of recovery. Crest of Cyrodiil is crit resistance. Dark Convergence is weapon and spell damage instead of magicka. Elf Bane is now crit chance. Hello. And the tooltip has been upgraded to include Dragon Knight standard. I think the writer needs time away from Ian Crayons. Fast Strider has crit resistance. Galarians has got crit resistance as well. Hugh and Sunder has got weapon and spell damage alongside offensive pen. Impregnable Armor has got crit resistance and reduce the bonus to crit resistance to 986, down from 1650 to account for the raw crit resistance increase. I mean, yeah, that means you just took these away for nothing then. Indomitable Fury, crit resistance. Night Slayer, crit resistance. Lackeys, crit resistance. That was on the Easy Tank for a long time, before Major Evasion was acquirable in other places. Light of Cyrodiil, crit chance, weapon and spell damage, and the bonus now reduces the cost of any health, magical, or stamina ability rather than only magicka abilities. Ooh, very nice. Morag Tong, crit chance, as it should be. Phoenix, crit damage, weapon and spell damage, and crit resistance. Rallying Cry has got crit resistance, weapon and spell damage. Crit resistance now begins at 986, same as this, they're standardizing it. And loses 50 per target affected rather than starting at 1650 and losing 83 per target. So they're kind of trying to balance that up a bit. Transmutation. Crit resistance, healing done, and crit resistance for 4 seconds on activation, down from 1400. That's just a reduction overall, basically. Sentry, crit resistance. Shared Pain, crit resistance, weapon and spell damage. Shield Breaker, crit chance, and offensive pen. It's a shredder set. Siege Master's focus is crit resistance. There's a lot of crit resistance here. Weapon and spell damage. That means anyone, like, if you push heavily into crit resistance, people that come out with no crit damage, like just pure flat and procs and shit that can't crit, most can, but the ones that can't, that's when they really hurt you. And that made a big difference back in the day, where people couldn't get crits out of procs, they didn't allow it, and they were going into PvP and wrecking everyone, and they're like, oh, proc meta. No, you didn't build against it. If you are fighting someone that cannot crit, and you're building crit resistance, you built for the wrong stat. You have to build more flat resistance, more flat mitigation, and people didn't do it. The ones that did really, really well, but most people didn't. They altered it eventually anyway, so it doesn't even fucking matter, but that was the problem then. People didn't build correctly to counter the problem. Spell Strategist, weapon and spell damage. Tracker's Lash, offensive pen. Vice Cannon, weapon and spell damage and crit chance. Vicious Death, weapon and spell damage. Hello! Warrior's Fury, weapon and spell damage. Hello again. Wizard's Riposte, crit resistance, and Enervating Aura. This set now applies minor innovation, and no, I can't even say fucking words today. It's the minor one. It's horrible. To live up to its namesake. There's a minor and a major of it. It's timidity is ulti reduction. What the fuck is this one again? My brain has stopped. Doesn't matter. Companion abilities and passives. Ember. Critical chance from this passive now works correctly. Great. Quests, lovely. Not going to read those. Fixes. More fixes. More fixes. McColden set and Craft and Ritz now properly show the quest assist location hidden deep within McColden Descent. Top bit of Rothgar. I'm not going to go over this because some of this is cosmetics, which we can't see. I'm skipping ahead a bit because it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm fucking done. Excuse me. Furniture. Can't see it. Great. Miscellaneous. Skipping it. Graphics. Monitors now correctly show up in the display and PC on the list on PC. PC, the game should now display the friendly name of your monitors in the display. Okay, whatever. Fixes, 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 fixes. You can go through it in your own time. People! I'm done. I'm fucking knackered. I didn't put the fan back up, so I'm sweating like a pig. That was interesting. I am going to go on the PTS after this. I'm going to be on the PTS for the next fucking 4 weeks or so. You might see some on stream, but you will definitely see some on Secret Ninja's perk, Ninja Warrior, on Patreon Discord. If in doubt, try it out. If you haven't got access to PTS yet, but you are on PC, if you don't know how to do it, open the launcher, and there's a drop-down menu, top right-hand side, and it has a tick box saying PTS, or Public Test Server. That will do a new install of ESO, a separate one, and then the next time you open the launcher, you'll have the game and PTS. Just log in, everything's free. People, that is pretty fucking cool. The class mastery is absolutely insane on the surface. The werewolf stuff is very dramatic and looks really, really cool. The class adjustments, like the fixes and bits and pieces, they are what they are. The set changes for PvP, obviously that makes a lot more sense because they now support their 5-piece bonuses and such. And there are a couple of... There's a couple of adjustments that I'm a little bit fucking sketchy on, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not over till it's over, and this is only the first week, so there's lots of stuff that will probably change along the way. We're going to do a raid. I'm out of energy. I'm out of breath. My throat is hurting. I need to get food. People, thank you very much for watching. I hugely appreciate support. If you're not subscribed on YouTube or following on Twitch, hit the buttons. They are free. Furthermore, if you want to help support outside the channel, obviously put socials in the chat for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the website zonagaming.com, Patreon, Throne, Buy Me a Coffee, and merch. Look forward to new build updates in the very, very near future because shit is changing. Thank you very much and see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.